end of the war in Gaza and the release of hostages still held by Hamas.
To bring peace and security to the Middle East and end this war.
The president and vice president Kamala Harris meet here with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu a day after the prime minister addressed a joint meeting of Congress.
Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House. The House of Representatives today passing a resolution condemning President Biden's immigration policies and Vice President Kamala Harris.
By every metric, Kamala Harris has failed to secure our borders. Instead, advancing far-left Democrats' failed open border policies and the needs of illegal immigrants over the safety of Americans.
New York Republican Congresswoman Elise Stefanik, but Washington State Democrat Pramila Jayapal argued the vice president wasn't in charge of the border.
She was narrowly tasked with developing agreements that could help bring government and private sector investments to those countries that are sending migrants to the United States. 6 Democrats joined the Republicans in voting for the resolution. The gross domestic product, which measures the country's output of goods and services, grew at 2.8% in the second quarter, better than economists had forecast, and twice the rate of growth in the first quarter.
The GDP update indicates the economy is holding up, even though interest rates are still high, and many prices are still much higher than they were a few years ago.
Fox's Ginny Casola. Freddie Mac reports the average rate for a 30-year fixed mortgage ticked up again last week. It's now at 6.78%. That's half a point lower than this time last year, but many would-be home buyers are still hesitant because of high rates. Wall Street, the Dow is trading nearly 500 points higher. America is listening to Fox News.
The doctor's office that accidentally mixed up your files has your social security number. The power company that mistakenly cut your service has your payment info. And the hotel that lost your reservation has your passport number. You need LifeLock because your personal info is in endless places that can expose you to identity thieves. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points every second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it, guaranteed or your money back. Save up to 40% with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
87 should do it for the high this afternoon, and we'll continue to keep an eye out for a couple of spot thunderstorms. But where they pop, there'll be downpours of rain and lightning. Tonight, partly cloudy skies, 70. The atmosphere goes quiet. Friday, mostly sunny, 86. Nothing more than spot thunderstorms on Saturday, 86. Scattered thunderstorms on Sunday, so a little uptick, but no all-day rain. 88 Sunday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Are you the decision maker in your company? Consider this. For the first time in decades, there's a better option for a corporate card and spend management platform. Meet Ramp, the only corporate card and spend management system designed to help you spend less money so you can make more. With Ramp, you get full visibility into your company's spending and control who spends what with each vendor. Ramp's software collects and verifies receipts instantly to save your team valuable time. Ramp automates data entry and routine tasks with automated approvals, expense categorization and bill payments, time-consuming tasks, which means you'll stop wasteful spending and close your books in hours instead of days. Businesses that use Ramp add up to 5% to their bottom line the first year. If you're a decision maker, adding Ramp could be one of the best decisions you've ever made. Get $250 when you join Ramp for free. Just go to ramp.com/free. Ramp.com/free. ramp.com/free.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank, members of FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
Did you know you can unlock the equity from your current home and stay in it while you find your next home or while your new home's being built? Mark Cox here for my friend Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, St. Louis real estate expert. She can do that for you. Here's a problem many home sellers find themselves in. I want to sell my home, but where will I move? Plus, I need the funds for my current home to go purchase our next home. Gloria understands this. That's why she created her Sell and Stay program, which allows you to sell your home, get the cash, and stay in the home for up to 12 months. I love Gloria Lou because she thinks of every dilemma a home seller could go through and provides a guaranteed solution. If you need the cash from your current home to buy your next home, here's my recommendation. Call the only agent I trust, Gloria Lou, and ask her about her Sell and Stay program. 314-325-6888. Or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. That's GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
Conditions apply. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
Paid for by Lori Rook from Missouri. Ryan Rook, Treasurer.
You deserve to know where your tax dollars are really going. You deserve to know about the backdoor deals our politicians are making with lobbyists. And you deserve to know when your elected officials are supporting things that compromise your conservative values. But right now, it's all hidden behind the curtain. As your next Missouri State Treasurer, I will publish the full story of our state's spending in one easy-to-use website. Vote for me, Lori Rook, in the August 6th Republican primary, because you deserve to know.
Don't let a cold, sinus infection, or allergies ruin your day. Breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier with Navage. Visit Navage.com, Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, or a store near you.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
The cause of American democracy itself must unite to protect it. You know, in recent weeks, it's become clear to me that I need to unite my party in this critical endeavor. I believe my record as president, my leadership in the world, my vision for America's future, all merited a second term. But nothing can come in the way of saving our democracy. That includes personal ambition. So I've decided the best way forward is to pass the torch to a new generation. It's the best way to unite our nation.
Man, you take vacation for about 10, 12 days and everything happens all at once. Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. Yes, this time with Annie back. Hello, I missed you. And there has been so much news in the amount of time that I was gone. And I have to ask you, first and foremost, Annie, did you regret taking vacation this week? No. Because, and this is the defining thing that I want you to remember for your life, that I have had to really challenge and ask myself for my life as well. What's the most important thing? What out there matters more than anything? And the truth of the matter is, it's not politics. It's not the news. It's not the ticker by ticker, minute by minute headlines that come out, even when it's the biggest news week of your 40 years of life and you are in Florida on vacation. It was wild. The stories that were coming out, the headlines that were coming out while I'm, at the beach or at the hotel pool or on a bus from point A to point B, these huge, huge stories. And I'm literally asking myself on multiple occasions, what am I doing here? And the answer is I'm spending time with my family. And the truth of the matter is that the reason why all of these other massive stories matter so much is because of the priority that I have in my life, and you likely have this in your life, is because of how it affects your future, how it affects the people who matter the most to you. And anytime, and I am guilty of this, I will put my hand up and say I'm the first one to be guilty of this. Anytime that the news cycle tries to grab you and become your priority, it's inverted. It gets upside down. We have to remember which entities in our life service which entities in our lives. So yes, it was Friday when I left for vacation, right out the door from Friday's show. I believe it was Saturday when the former president of the United States, was shot. I know exactly where I was in the vehicle driving down the east coast of Florida. We had stopped at the beach and we were on our way to Central Florida, and it was just a very happy time. And then all of a sudden, my phone starts blowing up. And people are saying that the president was shot. You don't know what that means. He was shot. Is he dead? He was shot. Did we get the guy? He was shot. Who did it? All of these questions, few of which we have answers to today, nearly 2 weeks later. Incredibly important and consequential questions that we need to have answers to. Our poll for today is, are you afraid for America's future? Yes or no? Because when we talk about America's future, I think that when I notice myself getting pulled away from the importance and the priority of where I need to have my focus in my life as a Christian, as a mother, as a wife, when I pull myself away from that and I'm allowed to be consumed into the news stories, the headlines, the things that are so sensational and so emotional, that they sneak in and they try to become that priority over those things, which when you objectively step away, you say, yeah, obviously, my children, my family, my faith, these are the most important things in my life. The sensationalism of the news and the way that it captures you and it keeps you looking at your phone for the next news alert to pop up or leaving on your news station of choice because you just got to hear the next development. When I'm away on vacation and I'm with my family, it's interesting how I still get those headlines. They still seep through. They still come to me. But the moments in between the big headlines are filled with splashes in the pool after going down the pool slide. Photographs at the beach of my 3-year-old Molly collecting shells on the front end of the beach and having to run into the water to make sure that they get all cleaned off so that she can drop them on her way back. I don't even know where she was putting them. But there is a process, and you best not intervene in the process. Just let her be. Or watching my 14-year-old son navigate a vacation with 3 sisters of varying ages and enjoying going on this family trip that we take every summer. And it looks a little different every year that we go back because he's getting older and he's experiencing the world differently. He's paying attention to the news headlines now more than he has in the past, and it means something to him. So when I ask the question, are you afraid for America's future? When you hear that question, are you thinking to yourself, are you afraid for Republicans' future? Are you afraid for the Democrats' future? Because we just find out officially last night from the president, in his own words, that he's dropping out of the race. He said, even personal ambition cannot get in the way. Joe Biden will not be on the ticket in November. If you're a Democrat right now, you're probably more excited about this coming election than you've been in quite some time. Just because subjectively and relatively, the thought of a Kamala Harris presidency seems maybe a little bit more possible than a Joe Biden presidency, a second term. When I ask you if you're afraid for America's future, if you're a Democrat, are you less afraid for America's future now because you feel like the Democrats are going to have a better future in this country? That's where it gets upside down. When we have heard President Biden in his inauguration address say to the American people that it's going to be his job to unite America. That's what he said he wanted to do, and he said last night in that address once again that he's still committed to that. Who are we uniting? If Joe Biden is to be successful in that way, what does that look like? Because from where I sit, somebody who disagrees with, 95% of the policies, and I'm just I'm just giving him 5% of something that maybe I missed because I'm trying to think of a policy that Joe Biden has manifested, that the Democrats have manifested, that I'm like, finally someone's got this right. Off the top of my head, and yeah, I'm going to be a little rusty for a while after taking a week and a half off. I can't think of anything. Is Joe Biden interested in uniting me with the people who support him? Because I don't think he is. In order to unite people, you've got, generally speaking, to unite them not for something, but against a common enemy. And when I listen to the current president of the United States, President Joe Biden, every chance he gets to speak in a political manner, he needs to call out the ultra MAGA Trump supporters. He takes every opportunity he can to define who we need to unite against. Joe Biden wants to unite the country against Republicans. Now that Joe Biden is pulled out of the race, Kamala Harris is going to have to make the case of what she wants to unite the country against. I think that we know very little about Kamala Harris. I think that there is going to be a deluge of information that hits us between now and November 5th, and that's assuming that Kamala Harris is even the nominee. We'll find out at the DNC convention who it's going to be, but I don't know that we're guaranteed that it's Kamala Harris right now. We're going to find out what the Harris administration, how they want to unite the country. Move over to the right side of the aisle and let's question ourselves about what Donald Trump wants to do with a second term. Who does Donald Trump want to unite? And yeah, maybe I'm a homer here, and maybe this is too subjective. I'm too close to the issue to make this assessment, but I'm going to do it anyway. I don't really think that Donald Trump is out there to unite Republicans. And I'll make my case by pointing out that there are Republicans that Donald Trump calls out on the daily, that he makes fun of, that he gives the treatment that he gives to people who he perceives to be his political opponents on the other side of the aisle. It's actually frustrating to some Trump supporting Republicans at times like myself that he's not more willing to unite the broad tent of Republicans that are out there, because never Trumpers, never Trumper is a phrase that everybody understands. Never Trumpers, that's not a name given to Democrats. Never Trumpers, that's a name given to people who are swing voters or Republicans. That above all else, the only thing that matters is that it is never Trump. There's nothing he could do to persuade those people to consider him as the president of the United States. So for Donald Trump, I don't believe that the idea of uniting is just Republicans over Democrats. Let's unite Republicans. I see Donald Trump including people who Republicans don't really love to see included in the conversation. Over my break, I dipped into the RNC several times. Amber Rose, somebody who I didn't know about, now I know more about her than I really prefer to. A speaker at the RNC convention. I don't know where you are on that, and honestly, I haven't formulated a strong enough opinion to dive into it myself as to whether or not she belonged there or not. But Donald Trump thinks she should be. Donald Trump has gone with policy and said that he is not for abortion bans, that he wouldn't sign a universal abortion ban. Donald Trump, while he in his first term was one of, if not the most pro-life presidents from the Republican Party side, the abilities to bring attention to that issue, he did not shy away from it at all. And when Donald Trump was elected in 2016, people like me thought he's not going to govern as a conservative at all. We'll be lucky when we get a conservative policy or a bit of leadership out of President Trump. And then he turned out to really hit the mark way more than he didn't. Who does Donald Trump want to unite? And when you unite somebody, who are we uniting against? And the answer is right there in front of you, and it's right there in front of me. Donald Trump wants to unite the people who believe that the idea, the purpose, the goal of a president, of a federal government of the United States of America is to prioritize America first. The goal is that we understand that we have to take care of our own before we move out into the world and start caring for other people, dictating to other people, controlling other people, that we first have to have our house in order. And the foundational element of an America First mentality is that America is worth it. That the creation of this country, the founding fathers' idea that it would be a we the people, not we the government, mentality about how this system would work is that the American people are prioritized, that they should be left to handle their own lives, to manage their own lives, and that government should not be knocking on the door to create problems that they can then solve. Oh, but by the way, you need to provide the funding for it out of your back pocket. For the Democrats, Kamala Harris, it's wash, rinse, repeat with whomever they choose. And when I say they choose, I mean the Democratic operation, the system that they've put in place to select the people who will continue the cause. And I truly believe that it's a cause that is there to fully support, maintain, and grow the power of the Democrat Party, not Americans. If you're not with them, you are against them, the Democrat Party. If you look at Donald Trump, I think one of the reasons why he is so incredibly threatening to the Democrats is because he doesn't play in the party system. It's very easy for Democrats to say, Democrats good, Republicans bad. Donald Trump doesn't turn around and say, no, Republicans good, Democrats bad. That's not how he functions. And it's frustrating at times for some of us who pay a lot of attention to how this system works because it's easier to play in the red good, blue bad, red bad, blue good system. It's just simple. It's like watching a sporting event. You got your team, they do something good, they get away with a bad call because the umpire didn't see it right or the referee called it wrong and it's not reviewable. And you're like, round of applause, it went for us, it's good. Donald Trump goes into the system and he turns the whole thing upside down, puts everything on the table and says, we can get rid of most of this. We need to get back to the idea that we should focus on America first. Not America only, but America first. The Democrats are clearly Democrats first. And that's an incredibly isolating place to be. America first is inclusive. And if you were to go ask 100 people on the streets of St. Louis, which party is more inclusive? How many of them do you think would say Republicans? I think if you went and asked the same 100 people, Joe Biden or Donald Trump, and we'll find out what they say about Kamala Harris, I think that people find Donald Trump to be more inclusive. And that might be a radical thought to entertain, but if you sit back and think about it, are you for America or are you against it? Do you love America or do you hate it? Do you see the American flag and walk up to it, embrace it, and hug it and smile ear to ear? Or do you take the American flag down and replace it with the flag of another nation while you burn the American flag? These are simple questions with incredibly consequential answers. And we will find out the answer in November. I am very sorry that I missed the last week and a half, but I wouldn't do it differently. And I am so glad to be back here on the air with you. I'm so glad to it's like, do I regurgitate the last week and a half? You guys have all been here. You've been listening. I don't think I'm going to do that. I'm interested. I thought maybe in the 2 o'clock hour we could do an Ask Me Anything. If you're cool with that.
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
If people want to ask me questions or you want my thoughts on a particular thing, put it in the YouTube chat and we will flag them. And maybe at 2:25 we'll do an Ask Us Anything.
Sounds great.
We've got a great list of guests today on the show. Normally at Thursday at 12:25, we'll be talking with Hans von Spakovsky. He's going to bump back an hour, and we're going to talk to him at 1:25, and we're going to get his feedback on Project 2025. That should be interesting. But when we come back, Tammy Bruce is going to be with us, and this is kind of the inspiration for today's YouTube poll. I've got her book in my hand right now, Fear Itself. I'm through the second chapter of this book, and I feel like this is must-read material for the next few months. Because I'm asking you this question today on the YouTube poll. Are you afraid for America's future, yes or no? She gives you the information you need about where the fear comes from and how to muster the courage to combat it. And Tammy Bruce is going to be on the Annie Fry Show next. So stick around. We'll be right back.
With the dogs running, saved by the sound of a...
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Work until the week's done. We take a break and break bread on Sunday, then do it all again, because we're proud to be from God's country.
The Retirement Advisory Group, Thomas Helbig, Bob Kershaw, Tammy Kershaw, we're having another event, and I want to see you there Tuesday, August 6th. That's when you are going to sign up to come to this. It's very brief, which is fantastic. If you've heard me talking about the Retirement Advisory Group and how they can offer you a free sit-down conversation, this is where you can get a lot of the precursor information for free. They have snacks, and I'll be there. So will Mark Cox and Mark Reardon, so join us. It's Tuesday, August 6th. Starts at 6:30 p.m. at the Frontenac Hilton. I encourage you, if you're trying to meet myself or Mark and Mark, you got to get there earlier. It starts at 6 o'clock. I will meet as many of you as I can. We've been filling up the room, so you want to make sure that you get your seat and your friend's seat. Grab a few friends. Grab another couple that's right there on the cusp of retirement. And just spend a Tuesday evening with me, with Thomas Helbig, Mark, and Tammy and Bob Kershaw. The whole crew will be there. I'm there from 6 to 6:30, welcome you, and then I turn it over to Thomas Helbig along with Mark, and it's free. There's no reason not to do it. 314-993-9494, 314-993-9494. You have to reserve your spots, and they will fill up. Go get one right now, online at retirementkey.com.
I was having a lot of sinus infections. My sinuses were clogged, pressure, headaches.
Linda suffered for years with chronic sinus infections.
You don't feel like doing anything. When you feel like your head is completely clogged, all you want to do is just lay down and sleep. And the pressure, it's just not fun. Always walking around with a headache.
Now, her issues are gone. How? A minimally invasive procedure done in the office of St. Louis Sinus Centers called balloon sinuplasty.
I really did not know what it was like to feel like you're really breathing and not being so clogged up. I would do it again in a heartbeat, and I would definitely recommend it for someone else.
Do you suffer with chronic sinus infections, facial pain, pressure, congestion? Find out if balloon sinuplasty is the solution for you. Set an appointment today with St. Louis Sinus Centers. Call 314-332-2885. 314-332-2885. That's 314-332-2885.
Have you ever had a wedding reception in your yard or scheduled a party, birthday party or whatever kind of party at your house, and during the party or a couple, 3 hours before, notice your air conditioner is not working and it is the hottest day of the year? Or have you come home from a vacation and your house is baking? My experience has been that's when it will break. It just happens that way. So if that does happen to you, or say, again, you don't need to have a party or you don't need to be baked. But if your air conditioner breaks and you need to get the cold air back in your house, call me, Bart Inman. One easy number in Missouri and Illinois. That is 314-293-2600. Again, the easiest of numbers, 314-293-2600, or on the internet, bartinman.com. It's Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com.
While retinitis pigmentosa takes Mark's vision, his family gives him hope, whether at the family business or at home with his wife and sons. He knows he's not fighting alone. For 50 years, the Foundation Fighting Blindness has funded research into treatments and cures for blinding retinal diseases, providing hope to people with vision loss. And for Mark, winning the fight means being there for his family. The Foundation Fighting Blindness. Together, we're winning. Help us end blinding diseases at fightingblindness.org.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. Wounded Warrior Project was created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war, whether those scars are physical or mental. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Hey homeowners, it's time to transform your house into a masterpiece with Lakeside Renovation and Design, your James Hardy siding experts. Picture this: durable, weather-resistant siding that doesn't just protect, but elevates your home's value and curb appeal. James Hardie, the gold standard in siding, installed by the pros at Lakeside. Say goodbye to maintenance headaches and hello to a home that stands the test of time. Ready for a siding upgrade? Lakeside Renovation and Design is your go-to. Visit our showroom or call today. Unleash the potential of your home with James Hardie Siding.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-353-9057. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-353-9057. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-353-9057. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-353-9057. 800-353-9057 or biglou.com.
A weak White House, an invasion of illegals, and the woke mob attacking our values. That's what Phil Cristofanelli is fighting for Missouri's future. He supported sending the National Guard to secure the southern border. He defunded sanctuary cities. And Phil Cristofanelli backs the blue to keep our neighborhoods safe from gangs, fentanyl, and human traffickers. He's been named one of Missouri's most conservative legislators year after year. Cristofanelli stands up to the radical left and weak-kneed Republicans. Pro-life, he helped pass one of the nation's strongest anti-abortion laws and defunded Planned Parenthood. Pro-Second Amendment, he stood up for our gun owners and constitutional rights. And Cristofanelli is keeping men out of girls' sports and locker rooms. Phil Cristofanelli, an unwavering conservative for state senate.
Paid for by friends of Phil Cristofanelli, Dan Raker's treasurer.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. 9 out of 10 homes are under-insulated. Keep the air you're paying to heat where it should be with 15% off attic insulation. For a free estimate on attic insulation, visit aircomfortservice.com.
Missouri, it's time to vote. The Missouri primary is August 6th, and early voting is happening now. Make your voice heard. Cast your vote in the Missouri primary. Democracy 2024. It's happening now on 97.1 FM Talk. This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Fry Show.
So has anyone out there heard of Project 2025? You can clap if you've heard of it. Good. You know, our audience is very advanced. They read, they know. But a lot of people don't know about it. So I'm here to tell you what it is. It's a far-right plan for destroying democracy that Trump's team wants to implement on day one. Let me count the ways. They want to ban abortion, starve school children, eliminating breakfast and lunch for school kids. They want to have mass deportations of immigrants. They want to gut health care. This is all just for starters.
Well, I know it's like the rudest thing I could do on my first day back from vacation to be like, hey, friends, let's listen to some Joy Behar. Listen to all the scary things that are going to happen if Donald Trump gets elected. And the scariest words that you can say to a liberal right now, Project 2025. They don't even know what's in it. But they listen to Joy Behar's drivel like this, and then they just repeat. And wash and rinse and repeat once again. Somebody who knows a little bit about fear and courage, my friend Tammy Bruce, back on the Annie Fry Show. Tammy, thank you for being my first guest back from vacation. Wow, what a few weeks.
Well, I hope you had a great time. You didn't miss much, so you didn't have to catch up.
Nothing to catch up on.
And thank you for having me. Yeah, that's a perfect example, and we know this is going to happen. And it's all that they do. It is and it's the use of fear. It's what my new book's about, to control society. And what you do is you threaten people with this idea that existential threats are coming, and then it shuts down the logical and reasoned mind, and you begin to just, allow others to either take control of your actions or you retreat completely. And what you played there is a perfect example of it.
Yeah, I think about listening to anything that comes from The View, and that's really all that they trade in is this idea of fear that they are going to scare you. And there's such a repetitive nature to it that comes from the leftist agenda-driven media that they repeat the same thing. So the more you hear it, the more you believe it to be true. When in reality, if you listen to Donald Trump speaking on himself, he has really pushed Project 2025 away as not his thing. Maybe he'll pick some stuff from it. But what is it about Project 2025? Why consolidate all of this fear into a couple of words, Project 2025? Like, why did the left do that?
Yeah, it's a trigger. I mean, these are this is an ancient technique. It's like any kind of brainwashing, any kind of cultic training. You reduce things down, you repeat them, and then it's a trigger word. And then you stop thinking at all about the details of even that. And all it means is, again, and of course the toning things down after the attempted assassination of President Trump lasted for about 18 hours. That's about it. But this is a perfect dynamic for them. And if it didn't exist, they would make it up. So it's almost doesn't matter what we do. And so, for the book, and we know this is going to ramp up, right? The use of fear is a favorite technique because they know that they're selling something no one wants, and their only hope is for people to retreat. And so it's almost very much like a domestic violence writ large, that every message, not just to their own base, but to their own base and to everyone else, is that, global warming, you're the fault of that. Your breathing is the issue. The straws you use is the issue. On the issue of the nature of even the food we eat has to change. And now you can be fired if you misgender someone. And now we're even into forced speech where you've got every forum has what are your pronouns? And I usually put your majesty, but that's not what they want to have. And so it's forced speech through silence, that if you don't fill out that category, you are not complying. And they can know that by either forced silence and what it reveals by you not saying the words you're supposed to say. And of course, there are punishments. You might lose your job. You might get attacked on Twitter. You will be called names. You might be condemned as a transphobe if you don't want men, involved in women's sports. There's a price to pay if you do not conform. And for me, as we were looking at this idea came to me pre-COVID. COVID's the best example of this technique. But it really started with political correctness first, where you begin to change the notion of people that there's rules that you're breaking when you speak, and the rules keep changing. And so you're never sure about what you can do. And of course, then we move into something like, cancel culture, which begins to apply punishments to those who don't behave. And I think that for the next several months, the assassination attempt on President Trump was, I think, inevitable because of the rhetoric used that is terrifying. Look, it's terrifying to think you've got a Russian spy who's going to end the country as we know it. And it's pretty scary. And people are going to act on that. We saw it with Justice Kavanaugh, the way he was viciously ripped apart, led by Kamala Harris when she was in the Senate. And, of course, that was an attempted assassination. That was stopped, fortunately. But it's inevitable. And then for the next several months, what I want people to be aware of is that none of this is natural. None of it is normal. It is not organic. It's also not inevitable. It relies on us agreeing to react to it in fear or to comply, but to abandon our own, let's say, sense of decency and morality in the process. And if you can't and refuse to conform, they want you to shrink away and never be seen again. And some people make that choice as well. So my book is meant to, at least bring light to that, the history of it. It's an ancient technique. And I also give people some ideas on how to overcome it with pacts at the end of the book. Pacts we make with ourselves so that we can get through what's coming ahead.
Oh, I love it. We're speaking with Tammy Bruce right now. You know her on Fox News as a Fox News contributor, AMAC columnist, also a best-selling author. I've got the book in my hand right now, Fear Itself, Exposing the Left's Mind-Killing Agenda. I'm about a third of the way through this book at this point, and what you just said there is so important because anybody can identify and complain about a problem. The question is are there solutions to the problem? Can you fix the problem? Can you solve the problem? And you've done this here, and what you're articulating is that in order for the left to succeed at their ability to mind control, to own vocabulary and punish people accordingly, we have to be willing participants in it. And the good news here is that we don't have to be those willing participants.
We don't. And each of us, though, right, we have to pick our battles because some people will get fired if they misgender someone. So you don't want to go out there and challenge that environment or getting kicked out of school. So each of us is in a different position, but much of the work that can be done is private and very personal. Like my first pact is very simple, is we have to stop allowing strangers to control what we think of ourselves. So that if somebody calls you, as an example, I recommend if somebody calls you a bigot or a racist, you should treat it the same as if someone called you a Cocker Spaniel. You're not going to immediately look at your butt to find the tail, right? This is the simplicity of what that is. And it comes down to, re-embracing our own values, not being afraid of what you stand for. Know that you're not a bad person because somebody thinks because you might be white and a Christian, maybe you're pro-life, that you're somehow a white supremacist bigot. That's a lie. You're being told lies. And, there's a reason the mind is fragile, right? And it's a technique. This is not just random. And so we can be impacted by it. We all can be. And it's a matter of decision making that makes the difference. But in the book, we've got the history. I think once people know that, wait a minute, none of this is normal and I don't have to adapt. You can get the fear off of your shoulders. It's remarkable when that goes. Fear itself is a gift, but it's meant to be transitory so that you can deal with issues. The left makes it chronic, and that leads to mass anxiety.
Yes.
And it leads to a retreat from life. And that is what the left loves, is the destruction of the future, the destruction of life. And then they have all the power they want because people are too afraid to say no. We have a great opportunity, though, I think, coming up in November to reject this once and for all.
Amen. Tammy Bruce with us right now. I want to give you the opportunity to, before we let you go, to talk about your walk to this ideal, this thought process, because you're not a cradle-to-grave conservative. This is not something, I consider myself to be a Rush baby. I grew up in a house where the kitchen radio had on Rush Limbaugh. You have been on the other side. You have been on the left. So you've seen these things in practice.
I have. And that was, for me, everybody who's on the left, it kind of lands there because of some damage. And I was part of that as well, in the sense of wanting to probably, in some way, save my mother and then save my first girlfriend who had killed herself, and the issue of violence against women, and the nature of me wanting to make things more fair. And so, when you get people who are generally damaged, they're going to ask fewer questions. They just want to act. They want to, they're moving on something personal in that regard. For me, I also wanted to succeed in making women's lives better and kind of, having the feminist movement work itself out of being necessary. Well, that, of course, I was disabused of that notion right away and found that it was really a machine. It was a machine for money and profit, and was told that we couldn't really solve all the problems, if any, because then we wouldn't be here when we would be needed again. And it helped me, and I was in psychotherapy for a number of years. Went on talk radio in Los Angeles, speaking of Rush Limbaugh, the station. I was the token liberal, and it was Rush Limbaugh's station. And I tell a story about Rush in the book because he changed my life. A conversation just over a few hours in one day made a huge difference in my life. So it really is about being, and the left doesn't want people to talk to people who don't think like them. They don't want you to learn about other ideas or find out, as I did, that they lie about what conservatives are about, and they lie about the country, et cetera. So for me, that was the trajectory, and I'm glad I was able to do it. But it takes, look, I lost a lot of friends. My life changed, and it's a lot happens to you.
Right.
But we can all decide what in our own lives, what we need to do and if it's worth it. But it's the very most personal thing we all can do, because it is private. It's about our own sense of self, not being ashamed of who we are, not letting politicians or even family who are not like us try to make us feel bad or to reject our own values. The moment we're able to reject that, we're on much better footing.
Oh, I love all of it, and I am a third of the way through this book, and I cannot wait to finish it. And to your point, the essence of the power of the left and their ability to mind control relies completely on our silence. And this book is a wonderful way to show you where the courage can come from, and it's inside of you already. Tammy Bruce, thank you so much for being with us today. I'm holding your book up right now, encouraging everyone to get it. It's called Fear Itself, Exposing the Left's Mind-Killing Agenda. I hope to have you come back soon and talk more about the weaponization of fear so that we can push back.
Would love to. Yeah, there's going to be a lot to talk about. Thank you, Annie. I appreciate you having me.
Yep, thank you so much. Tammy Bruce, everybody. Fox News contributor, AMAC columnist, and best-selling author. Check out the book, Fear Itself. I'm reading it. It's wonderful. It's informative. And sometimes, this is how I have felt so far reading this book, that you ever have these thoughts and they're kind of rolling around in your head, or maybe they jump in and out at any given time, and then somebody puts all of those thoughts into a consistent, coherent, larger message, and you're like, yes, that. So far, that's exactly what this book has been for me. So thank you, Tammy Bruce, for coming on with us and talking to us about her book. It's so important to this moment in time right now. Quick break. When we come back, Ryan Wiggins in studio. I haven't talked to him yet since I've been back. How did he do? Was he okay? Did he behave himself, Brad?
I mean, he behaved himself when I was here.
Oh, what? Okay.
I don't know what he did the other...
Would you consider how he behaves on the show when I'm here behaving himself?
No.
Was he better?
He was actually more well-behaved than whenever you're here.
So it's me. I'm the problem.
Well,
he paid you to say that.
I think he just finds it fun.
All right, well, he'll be in studio here when we come back. Can't wait to see him and talk to him. So stick around. We'll be right back with Wiggins America in just a minute.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter @AnnieFryShow.
RulerFoods.com. If you are looking to save money on groceries, I am always looking to save money. I encourage you to check out Ruler Foods. They have delivery right now, so you can have those discounts shipped right to your front door. That's super helpful. They have fresh cherries. It's a great summer snack by the pool. Get some fresh cherries, $2.99 a pound. We love them in my family. As well as grapes. You can get seedless red or white grapes, $1.27 a pound. Seedless watermelon or cantaloupe, $2.99 each. And I can personally attest to the freshness and the quality of Ruler Foods produce. I hit the produce section. I've gotten kiwi, bananas, grapes, tomatoes, some fresh parsley. What else do we get? Oranges, mandarin oranges, the little cuties. My littlest daughter loves those. You can count on the freshness of the produce at Ruler Foods. It's something people might not expect going in, but I have done it, and I encourage you to check it out for yourself. Also, save on Heritage Farm leg quarters sold in a 10-pound bag, just 59 cents a pound. Go to Ruler Foods online, and you can schedule your delivery. You can also check out the Ruler Foods closest to you, rulerfoods.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
You entrusted a nursing home with the care of a loved one, but they violated that trust. If your family member has been the victim of nursing home neglect, call Onder Law at 844-BED-SORE.
St. Charles County is a great county and community.
Joe Brazel supports smart growth.
In recent years, there has been an explosion of growth, an increase of apartment buildings by 180%. Explosive growth is not good for our citizens. It causes major strains on our resources. Having a rural area in our county and preserving our heritage is very important by not wiping out every tree and contaminating our water.
Joe Brazel, a true patriot working for you.
I'm Joe Brazel, running for St. Charles County Council, District 2, vote August 6th.
Paid for by Citizens for Joe Brazel, Mike Summers, Treasurer.
Are you afraid for America's future? Yes or no? That's today's YouTube live chat poll. Let us know what you think. It is 12:49. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
It's what's happening
And she is going to be the next president of the United States.
right now.
Director Cheadle, I don't think she should resign. I think she should have been fired.
Keeping you informed.
Ma'am, you are a DEI horror story.
97.1 FM Talk.
Well, I got a woman way over town that's good to me. Oh, yeah. Say, I got a woman way over town, good to me. Oh, yeah. She give me money.
Wiggins! Oh,
Wiggins!
Hello, Ryan.
Well, as anxious as I was to get in here and say hello to you, I also thought maybe we just bump my segment out till tomorrow and you call Tammy Bruce back.
Why, you like that?
Because that was great.
Yeah.
That was really good.
Her book is really, really great. I like it when people write books where they don't make me feel stupid. I'm like, gosh, I can't keep up with this. It just flows. It's very easy.
See, that's the difference between you and me. I like books that make me feel stupid. I like putting them on my bookshelf and being like, yeah, those are my books.
Mm-hmm.
So when I have guests over, I point at them and I smoke a pipe.
Ryan starts books, doesn't finish them, and whenever people ask him, what you reading, he can say whatever smart book it is.
Anything, yeah.
In my mind, when you're talking about doing that to your guests, it's like your kids' friends.
It is. Yeah, it is. Yeah,
Are they yours?
Gather around,
Yeah.
9-year-olds. Let's talk about things and stuff.
Yeah. Have you heard the latest from Hans von Spakovsky? There.
Man, you could say anything after that.
Yeah.
You're going to sound like a genius.
So what I have for you is just some stories here that have maybe gone a little bit unnoticed about the financial/social workplace, all that stuff like that. A bunch of random headlines that I found to be
See, if
interesting.
you said that phrase right there with the pipe, it would have sounded smart.
And then pointed at a bunch of books. See those right there?
That's today's log.
Those are mine. All right, the first one is related to the workplace.
Your bookshelf just has the life of human over and over and over again.
Yeah, it does. It does. That's not a lie.
I like how you came to that realization in real time.
Yeah. See those right there? Those are books that I didn't sell yet. A disturbing number of people sick with infectious diseases conceal their illnesses to avoid missing work, travel, or social events, new research reveals. About 3 in 4, as in the vast majority of people.
This is how you know we're back from 2020.
Exactly.
That's the way it was.
Yes.
Do you remember being in the midst of all of the craziness of COVID? Our lives were, it's hard to even believe that they were what they were. But the big question the whole time is, will we ever go back to normal? According to the study, yes.
What would you say? Was there a moment that you said that was the end of it? Or was it just a gradient to you?
I think it's a gradient to everybody. There are a lot of people who want to boast about never participating. You couldn't not participate. You could.
Oh yeah,
it
was thrust upon you.
You could push back on it or not participate in certain things, but it was all around you. I mean, the world shut down, so you were there. You lived it. Maybe you didn't comply as much as other people might have, or are still complying. But gosh, I remember one of the main things about being in the midst of COVID. As soon as it started to go away and people started coming back to work, if you came to work and you coughed, you were the great Satan.
Oh man,
Ryan.
Let me tell you about living with cystic fibrosis in the COVID era. My gosh,
not good for you.
I kid you not, and I still have. Oh, I do it all the time.
Well,
I still have a little card that I carry in my wallet that says cystic fibrosis.
He made it with a crayon, but it's no big deal.
I don't know where I got this. It's like an official card that tells you have a disease. That's kind of cool, I guess. But I also considered getting, just for plane rides, a shirt that says, I have CF, it's not COVID, it's not contagious.
And CF makes you cough because?
You have thicker than average mucus in your lungs. So it's constantly, you just kind of clear your throat over and over and over.
It's just what you do.
It's just what you do.
And
there's
then
no way around
COVID's
it.
like, if you cough, you are the virus.
Yes. Oh my gosh. It was.
Poor Ryan.
It was a nightmare. But I do, when I sit my kids' friends down and we talk about world issues and I point at the books on the bookshelf, I say, Kids, I want you to know that the COVID era ended in March of 2022. And you know why I say that? Because that's when the airplane mask mandate ended. And I think that was really what kind of blew the doors open.
I think it's like if you got off the airplane when the mask, what date was it?
March of 22.
I think if you got off the plane in like Chicago, you had to put your mask on when you got off the plane, though.
Yeah, depending on where you were. Yeah, if you're going to the Bahamas, they're like, yeah, you don't need anything. But if you're going to Philadelphia,
you don't even need pants.
Yeah.
that was just based on Ryan's vacation photos.
That was what I tried.
Yeah,
right. Yeah, that was a fun year.
The weird thing was that you were wearing a mask, though.
Over my pants. Over my, never mind.
Your face.
I was wearing masks all over the place just to be safe.
I'll wear your mask.
Next random story from the financial world is related to your retail experience. Halloween in July is happening.
Let's go.
Have you seen this? Have you seen this at all in stores?
No.
I haven't either yet, but it's close. It's right around the corner. They say that Spirit Halloween stores open on August 1st. They're opening all over the place. But this story is talking about how Home Depot, Target, Costco are already selling some of those big, monstrous animatronic decorations.
Man, those things are scary.
They scare me, let alone my kids.
Yeah.
I mean, I walk in there and I just go ahead and I just let go of my pee. And then I'm like, okay, now I can shop. You just got to get that out of the way.
That's why you got to wear that mask.
That's why I got to wear a very absorbent mask.
Depends.
So if you see that, you're not alone.
People need to understand, though, it's the same thing with Christmas creep. Christmas stuff starts coming out late August, early September, if not before. But there are a lot of people who, like, as soon as Christmas is socially acceptable to publicly celebrate or participate in, there are places that have to be ready with that Christmas stuff in tow. Or maybe, like, people go into Michael's, not the flooring store, but you should. But the craft store, and there's Christmas stuff everywhere. That's because people go there to make their Christmas stuff that they're going to sell or do whatever with. So there are some instances, like in Halloween, if you're getting ready for Halloween and you're like a store that needs to be decorated or an entity or provide a service, you have to have that stuff before October 1st.
Oh, I totally understand. But with Christmas, it feels like, well, things are getting a little cold. I'm kind of okay with it. In July, when I'm seeing a fall holiday, late fall holiday, I'm like, no. This is not okay. And I also have to shield. My kids are getting a little older now, so it's okay. But man, they are so afraid of it. And they're like, Dad, can you pray for me that I don't have nightmares tonight because we went into Home Depot? Yeah, I will. I think you'll be okay.
They come by it honestly.
So Annie Fry, welcome back.
Thank
that
you.
was a great segment, and it was for you.
Thanks for bringing your A game.
You're welcome.
Did you miss me?
I did.
Did you?
I mean, we got a flow, you know? And when you're not here,
no flow.
We got no flow.
Oh, Lord. Tyrus, when we come back, and Hans von Spakovsky, when we come back, we're going to talk to Hans about Project 2025 and let him hit back on some of the accusations that have been made. And Tyrus, I'm just going to be like, so, how's it going? And then we'll go from there. Don't go away.
Home values are sky high, and you have a ton of equity. Your financial advisor thinks the market is peaked. So if you're thinking about selling, it's time. Except for two things. High interest rates will burn you on a new home loan, and you're not ready to move. Savvy financial advisors suggest Truehold's new Sell and Stay program. It's ingenious because they buy your home now while its value is high, but you can stay in your home as long as you want with an easy, affordable lease. Smart, right? Truehold will make you a solid cash offer, not a lowball offer like the others. It's based on your home's current value. The cash is yours to travel, pay off bills, or secure your retirement. And again, you can stay in your home with a comfortable lease. Truehold covers property taxes, insurance, and maintenance. See how much Truehold will pay for your home today. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out your home's value without moving. That's Truehold.com.
Michael's Flooring Outlet online. You can find them and you can go through everything that they have to offer, all the products. You can request an estimate. You can see the locations. Just visit igotfloored.com. Michael's Flooring Outlet has been a decades-long partner with 97.1 FM Talk, but they have been in St. Louis as a locally owned and operated family business for over 30 years. And Michael's understands how to earn customers and retain customers and turn you into people that recommend Michael's Flooring Outlet for your friends and family's purchase of flooring. They have great quality products, which include the Smart Strand Mohawk Silk line of carpeting, silky softness, superior performance. They have all pet versions of that for folks like me who've got a dog, and dogs do dog things every once in a while. Reach out to them and talk to them about what you are looking to accomplish in your home, and you will be very glad to be partnered with the best people in the flooring business in St. Louis. Find all the details online at igotfloored.com.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio.
That's GetJim.com.
97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Condemnation of border policy. I'm Jack Callahan, Fox News. In the House of Representatives today,
6 Democrats voted with all Republicans in the House on a resolution, quote, strongly condemning the Biden administration and its border czar, Kamala Harris's failure to secure the United States border. This despite Mississippi Democrat Benny Thompson's best efforts to defend the administration.
The Biden-Harris administration has also increased enforcement, deployed more border surveillance equipment, and sped up immigration processing.
Border security is expected to be key on the campaign trail, with many polls showing it as a top concern among voters.
Fox's Ryan Schmelz at the Capitol. Vice President Harris campaigning today in Houston at the American Federation of Teachers Convention, praising President Biden's address last night.
He showed once again what true leadership looks like. He really did. His words were poignant.
The vice president returning to Washington to meet with Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who is meeting now with President Biden at the White House.
Mr. President, we've known each other for 40 years, and you've known every Israeli Prime Minister for 50 years, from Golda Meir. So from a proud Jewish Zionist to a proud Irish-American Zionist, I want to thank you for 50 years of public service and 50 years of support for the state of Israel.
The president has pledged to continue to work for a peaceful resolution to the war in Gaza during his remaining 6 months in office. NASA says the 2 astronauts who rode Boeing's Starliner to the International Space Station 6 weeks ago on what was supposed to be a 9-day trip will stay there till further notice. Engineers trying to sort out helium leaks and thruster failures. Wall Street, the Dow trading nearly 365 points higher. America is listening to Fox News.
The doctor's office that accidentally mixed up your files has your social security number. The power company that mistakenly cut your service has your payment info. And the hotel that lost your reservation has your passport number. You need LifeLock because your personal info is in endless places that can expose you to identity thieves. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points every second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it, guaranteed or your money back. Save up to 40% with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
87 should do it for the high this afternoon, and we'll continue to keep an eye out for a couple of spot thunderstorms. But where they pop, there'll be downpours of rain and lightning. Tonight, partly cloudy skies, 70. The atmosphere goes quiet. Friday, mostly sunny, 86. Nothing more than spot thunderstorms on Saturday, 86. Scattered thunderstorms on Sunday, so a little uptick, but no all-day rain. 88 Sunday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Mark Cox here. Join me, Annie Fry, and Mark Reardon, along with Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw of the Retirement Advisory Group for the Protecting Your Retirement Educational event, Tuesday, August 6th. It's at the Frontenac Hilton at 6:30 p.m. Seats are limited, so go online at retirementkey.com. Here's Thomas and Bob with more.
Are you nearing retirement or already retired and wondering what to do with your life savings? Are you concerned how a major market correction will affect your retirement? Would you like to have a personalized, structured income plan that shows you the monthly income you'll receive in retirement and how to never outlive it?
Did you also know if you're 59 and a half or older, you can roll over your company retirement plan tax-free to protect your nest egg from any more losses? You'll get all the answers and more. If you're 59 and a half or older, you cannot afford to miss this event.
Protect your retirement nest egg and join the official financial advisors of my show, Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw, Tuesday, August 6th at the Frontenac Hilton at 6:30 p.m. Go online at retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
Experience the beauty of custom-crafted windows that enhance your home's aesthetics and energy efficiency. Look no further than Infinity from Marvin, proudly brought to you by Lakeside Renovation and Design. Why choose Infinity? These windows are not just strong, they're 8 times stronger than vinyl, providing unmatched security for your home. Plus, with Lakeside's expert installation, you're guaranteed precision and perfection. Visit our showroom or call Lakeside Renovation and Design today. Elevate your home with Infinity from Marvin, where strength meets style.
This is it. Shop the Lowe's Closeout event to get up to 70% off select major appliances for your home. Plus, get up to 60% off select patio furniture and accessories for your outdoor spaces. So hurry into your local store today because these deals are too good to last. Shop them now before they're gone because Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows home improvement. Valid through 8/7 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
Whether you own a local business or a global one, you're always looking for ways to position your operation to create opportunities and move on them faster. With Bank of America, you get access to experts, award-winning insights, and business solutions so powerful you'll make every move matter, locally and globally. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Copyright 2024 Bank of America N.A.
Join Mark Patrick seminars and lose weight or stop smoking guaranteed. Early bird special only $49.99. Seminars Tuesday, August 13th at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites St. Louis Airport in St. Louis, and Wednesday, August 14th at the 4 Points by Sheraton St. Louis Fairview Heights in Fairview Heights. Weight loss seminar 5:30 p.m. Stop smoking seminar 8 p.m.
When you withdraw money from your IRA or 401k in retirement, you could trigger an avalanche of taxes. Learn how you could avoid this with your retirement professors. Sunday evening at 6 on KFTK. 97.1 FM Talk.
Missouri, it's time to vote. The Missouri primary is August 6th, and early voting is happening now. Make your voice heard. Cast your vote in the Missouri primary. Democracy 2024. It's happening now on 97.1 FM Talk.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what you're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Good afternoon. I'm Rachel Scott at ABC headquarters here in New York. We are coming on the air at this hour with breaking news. President Biden has just announced that he is ending his re-election bid.
You're becoming like my most stable relationship.
Enough said.
Oh, it's always fun to talk to Tyrus. He's a regular on Gutfeld, a Fox News contributor, and an author of his latest book, Nuff Said. You can also get just Tyrus. I encourage you to get both of them. Tyrus, you and I have not talked in a minute, and some things have happened. And I want you to talk about whatever you want to talk about, because this has been a wild ride.
I'm a little confused, to be honest with you. I get why you didn't show up to work last week after losing that. Overman ordered the cancellation of the St. Louis Cardinals, so I know.
Yeah, like an idiot. You didn't even know what he was talking about. Do you know the real story behind the Alec Burleson thing? Do you know that wasn't a Trump thing?
The fact that they're drawing these conclusions just goes to show how bad their party is.
They see Trump in everything.
Yeah. And guy can't, apparently raising your hand and being excited about playing well is somehow related to Nazism. So it's laughable. That's all you can do at this point is just shake your head.
Fortunately, Keith Olbermann, once again, was not successful.
No, it did not work. Apparently, the Cardinals are going to continue on, which surprised me, so to be honest with you. It was,
So since we've talked last, Trump's been shot, Biden got COVID, Biden dropped out of the race. People wondered if Biden is even alive, and then he shows his face, and they're like, is that really his face? There's a lot going on right now. I'm curious about any conspiracy theories you might be interested in.
What's
your
I'm
favorite?
not interested in conspiracy theories, but I do like the more footage comes out from the attempted assassination and information that's coming out from bystanders and American citizens were there and the local police department. I think we're getting a very clear picture of what happened. And as the days and weeks go by, the good news is we're not going to have to wait 40 years to solve this one because of the fact that this was the one time that having a phone and absorbing and reporting was a good thing. I think we're going to see some things, and a lot of stuff is going to make sense that doesn't make sense right now.
Tyrus, do you feel like, when President Biden says that he's not running, he's still going to finish his term. Kamala Harris is going to go in and try to win the nomination, of course, and then, of course, the presidency. I'm really scratching my head right now with who actually is in charge, who is calling the shots. I mean, it feels like now more than ever, it's clearly not the people who are in the position to be calling the shots, that it's coming from somewhere else.
No, they knew what they were doing with Biden. It wasn't like his faculties just fell yesterday. I think it's laughable that they had the temerity to do that press conference with the president talking about how he was stepping down and passing the torch. Nancy Pelosi said you can do it the hard way or the easy way. And the easy way is they let you keep some of the your campaign money and finish out your term. But you cannot, if you cannot run for president because you can't do it anymore, then you shouldn't be president anymore. But again, we're asking the wrong question. Kamala is irrelevant. Who takes his place is irrelevant. It's the same progressive Bernie Sanders socialist government that can't get elected in a legal election that are calling shots, and they use the cover-up of the president's health should be the main story. This should be all we're talking about, and they're trying to, the spin cycle, and it was Trump's fault for getting shot. I mean, it literally said, press at the assassination attempt. Did you bring it on yourself? I mean, it's laughable. I think the American people can't be fooled, but at the same time, Republicans have to be better in sticking to just the deeds and the policy. If President Trump gets in a street fight with Kamala Harris, he'll win. He'll dominate her, and it'll be a sound bite all through the election of a misogynistic, toxic man who's, the VP pick is now looking kind of like maybe not the best decision in the world because he's women. I mean, I don't understand it. Some of the comments that are being made about Kamala is just we're literally changing the narrative.
Mm-hmm.
And like, how can we be this stupid? Policies, who's running is irrelevant. It's the same lies and deception that was told to the American people, and that should be the campaign talking points, and there should be nothing else. Engaging in her, calling her dumb, mentioning that she doesn't have children, all these things are just changing the race from what should be a comfortable, easy, dominating election based off of what we've seen, what we've discovered, and the policies and what's happening in our streets and our neighborhoods. And instead, it's going to be a name-calling battle with Kamala, which I think in the long run, we could lose the election just like what happened before. Yeah. Nobody wants this. And President Trump was doing a masterful job during those so-called indictments and up until the debate with Biden, where he was just sticking same tone matters, attitude matters, to where he's here to get America back on track, and again, who he's running against is irrelevant because it's the same plans. And so I hope they keep that, because if they don't, if he starts throwing punches with her, it's by design for him to beat her. It's by design for him to say things that will get everyone talking about what he said opposed to what they're doing.
Yeah.
He just can the president withhold from that, and it doesn't help. And I'm sorry, I just don't think the VP pick fits now. It did with Biden, but it doesn't fit now.
Yeah.
He doesn't help. Trump was where he helps. Trump's already locked and loaded.
Who did you want to see?
Honestly, I wanted to see moderate with a policy guy with no off-the-field issues. I thought Scott was a great one. Nikki Haley was a great one. You don't have to get along. You just got to be right. Even at this point, even Vivek would have been probably a better alternative. But I just think we got enough off-the-field issues with the president. Every time he speaks, they try to turn it into the second coming of Hitler. And then now I guess we got Mussolini, who's, calling people cat ladies and stuff. Just there's no point to it. Your game has to be better than that.
Tyrus.
Policy and everything else, like calling names and trying to be clever and get sound bites on the news is playing the wrong game. And we have to be better than that. And if President Trump says something, it's the VP's job to clean it up. Pence was masterful during the debates, if we remember. He was full president when they accused. Again, I don't care if they have lunch together or not. Republicans are about getting the job done, best man for the job. And depending on what they have all the men, they're in their honeymoon period right now, and everyone's acting like she just showed up and hasn't been here in this malfunctioning, dishonest, corrupted administration. So the honeymoon period, instead of getting involved and giving them rhetoric during the hunt to carry it on, this would be a good time to go play golf in Scotland for a while, Mr. President.
Golf in Scotland. That might be persuadable for him. Do you think that Trump is still the favorite to win in November?
I think so, but again, if you change the narrative to where we can't talk about this entire administration, Biden and Kamala, if we get into she's dumb as a rock or all this other stuff, we're going to get off message, and to the average American who's not watching news, 24 hours a day or is not on social media or whatever, it's going to be like, why? This is what we're going to do. It's his to lose. I feel like the country is looking for change, but they're not going to go look for change when we still get caught up in the ridiculous stuff that will get us all off our game. And I think that's the thing, man. It's yours to lose if you stick to policy, if you stick to your deeds, if you stick to your plans. But once you're getting up into a fight and a name calling in this day and age, it's just not. It only helps the other side.
Yeah. I agree with that. Speaking with Tyrus right now, you see him as a Fox News contributor, a regular on Gutfeld, and an author. You can check out his book, currently out, Enough Said is the name of that group. I want to ask you about this group of protesters out at the White House. They had an effigy of Benjamin Netanyahu while he was in town. They took the American flag down and burned it and replaced it with, was it a Palestinian flag or something like that? I mean, do these images matter to voters? I mean, because to me, it's a stark reminder of how crazy the left side is right now. You can kind of have, your moderate Democrats, the people who weren't so excited about Joe Biden, they might give Kamala a shot. But the left wing of the Democrat Party right now, that imagery to me is very impactful. Do you think it affects voters out there who might be back in the middle?
It would affect me. You're basically saying Hamas walked in to our Capitol, defaced our historic monuments, burned our flag, tried to post there. So there's those videos and sound bites that only inspiring guys to join Hamas and support Hamas because there's no consequences. And I just feel like if you are carrying a flag and you have the Hamas saying or battle cry, rap head, you are Hamas and should be treated accordingly. Congratulations, you're Hamas. Arrest all of them. And also, you can negotiate their release back to Gaza, Palestine, where they really want to be, in exchange for hostages. So I think the other administration, we would have seen the appropriate amount of police and military support to keep the United States from being attacked, which it was. It was attacked with graffiti and attacking our police officers, and we're putting our police officers in harm's way because they have virtual handcuffs on them. They can't, they arrest somebody. There's a video saying they're being they're brutalizing, mostly peaceful, which makes no sense. It's like saying you're mostly dead. It's like I'm watching The Princess Bride again. Awesome, and this sucks. This movie's terrible. But so there should have been a presence there. The National Guard should have been called in.
Mm-hmm.
One thing to stand outside and say whatever you want to say, but once you start destroying public property, once you start making threats and clashing with police physically and attempting to break and burn stuff down and set fires, and luckily for us, they can't make a fire to save their life. They have absolutely no outdoor skills whatsoever. So I'm just saying, it's just they don't know. Only in America could these half-ass protesters do what they do. In any other country, they'd be laughed at. They don't have the courage. They don't have the commitment. It's just to be in front of the camera, and then when they are asked, their answers only solidify why AI and robots in the employment line is probably going to be a good thing.
Last question, Tyrus, before we let you go. Only have a couple minutes left. When it comes to those visuals that we saw with these protesters, and you can think of a million other examples, do you think that America, on a bipartisan level, is looking for justice and law and order visually to be seen? Does that matter to people?
That is a great question.
You got an answer?
Yeah, I'm really very. Usually I have a quick answer, but I really wanted to think about what you just said.
Yeah.
I think at some point we need somebody, and probably will cost them an election or a seat, needs to bring back integrity. And we haven't. Integrity, I think John McCain, with that moment when the lady wanted to compare Obama to Osama bin Laden, and McCain, which could have used that to his advantage, chose integrity. When we realize, politicians realize that what really works with the American people is integrity and accountability, and it might seem like a loss in the beginning, but people will respect that. But we clearly see there's no integrity in this White House, so there's no move above them. The president was unfit to serve, and they decided to set up their shadow government and get their stuff across. So my thing would be whomever decides to get back to integrity and talking to the American people directly, and I think President Trump is on that path, it should carry this election, and hopefully we get back to that.
Yeah.
Some integrity. That would be great. I would love some integrity. I would be awesome.
Yeah, I think that the summation here is if Trump can stay on message, he should win. And we always question whether or not he can. He did a very good job post-debate of staying on message, which was not golfing in Scotland, as you said.
Go golf.
Go golf. Oh, man. Tyrus, it's good to have you back. Every time we talk, so much has happened. This is not an exception to the rule, but we always love talking with you.
Well, thank you so much.
We'll talk to you again soon. Take care. Tyrus, regular on Gutfeld, Fox News contributor, host of Maintaining with Tyrus on Outkick, and author of the book Nuff Said, which you should go get right away. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to talk to Hans von Spakovsky next. I'm going to play for him some clips of things that people have said about Project 2025. Hans von Spakovsky is with the Heritage Foundation. He knows a little bit about Project 2025. Let's see how he responds to some of these clips when we return. You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. We'll be right back.
Please, baby, can't you see my mind's a burning hell? I got razors ripping and tearing and stripping.
The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Some other woman is looking like something that might be good for you. Go on and hold her till the screaming is gone. Go on, believe her when she tells you nothing's wrong.
Air Comfort Service. You find them online at aircomfortservice.com. It is the time of the year where you need to make sure that your air conditioner is running well and efficiently. I don't even want to say this out loud, but here I am. We're getting close to the time where you're going to want to have your furnace checked in on. It's hard to think about that when we've been in the 90s. But when the air outside is blazing hot, you need the air inside to be comfortably cool. Whatever the temperature is that you set, you want to make sure that you are able to achieve that with a well-functioning AC unit. Air Comfort Service can help you achieve that. You can call them at 314-513-0091, 314-513-0091. They can help you with commercial repairs and installation as well. Call them and get a free second opinion, a second estimate on whatever it is that your problems that you're having that works for your commercial business. Like I said, if your HVAC system needs any work or needs a good look, Air Comfort Service is there to answer that phone call. 314-513-0091, aircomfortservice.com.
By now, you've heard Adam Schnelting's false attack ads. Don't buy his lies. Adam Schnelting says he opposes the transgender agenda, but he's trying to conceal the truth. Schnelting has received more than $71,000 from liberal trial lawyers. Those same trial lawyers supporting Schnelting also gave over $100,000 to a liberal group that supports men playing girls' sports, supports men using girls' bathrooms, and even supports gender mutilation surgeries for minors. To make matters worse, Adam Schnelting says he supports our gun rights, but he's received thousands from leading anti-gun lawyers that filed a massive lawsuit against gun makers and gun owners. But that's not all. These liberal lawyers don't just fund Adam Schnelting's campaign, their anti-gun lawsuits, or the transgender movement. They've also been leading funders of Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, and even the Joe Biden-Kamala Harris ticket. Adam Schnelting. With friends like that, conservatives just can't trust him. On August 6th, don't forget Adam Schnelting. He's loved by liberals, and he lies like one too.
Gladius PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising, paid for by Gladius PAC, and is not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee.
Are you worried about the state of the economy? Concerned about market crashes and rising inflation wiping out your savings? At Noble Gold Investments, we understand your fears and have a solution. Call us today at 1-888-403-1050. Imagine safeguarding you and your family with a tangible asset that has stood the test of time. Gold. With Noble Gold Investments, you can diversify your portfolio and protect your wealth from economic turmoil. Our team will guide you through the process, ensuring you make informed decisions that best suit your needs. Call Noble Gold Investments today at 1-888-403-1050. That's 1-888-403-1050. The future is uncertain. Take control now. Call 1-888-403-1050.
Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
If you have a problem with the IRS, believe me, it's not going away on its own. The IRS never gives up. They have endless resources, so they control the game. Well, your tax problems can end. I'm attorney Lance Drury with the Drury Law Firm, a local tax resolution firm with an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. I've handled thousands of IRS cases over the last 15 years. So when you hire me, you won't be speaking long distance or sending money to some TV pitchman that's riddled with consumer complaints. Your first visit is completely free and confidential, and I'll tell you on the spot exactly how much it will cost. So call me, Lance Drury, at 314-260-6120. That's 314-260-6120. Or go to Lance, D-R-U-R-Y, law.com. If you have IRS issues, you need a local attorney. You need me, Lance Drury.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Del Walmsley and the Wealth Cycle.
This is the wealth cycle that I've taught for 30 years. Buy one house, 10 houses, an apartment, 2 apartments, 8, 20, 500 units, 1,000 units, 2,000, 5,000 units. And as you keep putting the money and the profits back in, you become one of those rich people. And much quicker than you'd even believe.
Learn Dell's Wealth Cycle at GiveMeTotalFreedom.com. Use promo code 2024. Save 60%. Code 2024. GiveMeTotalFreedom.com. GiveMeTotalFreedom.com.
I'm Dr. Nick Barnes at Health From Within Family Chiropractic in Rock Hill. At Health From Within, our mission is to transform the way you manage your health by bringing you the truth about health and healing. We use proven techniques to remove interference in the nervous system and maximize health naturally, without drugs or surgery. Connect with me at healthfromwithinstl.com And join me for Maximize Living on this station every Sunday at 8 a.m. or download the Maximize Living podcast, healthfromwithinstl.com.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. 9 out of 10 homes are under-insulated. Is yours? Did you know that there's an R value associated with insulation? To find out your R value or for a free insulation estimate, visit aircomfortservice.com.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
The Mark Reardon Show.
Thursday afternoon, reaction to President Biden's address to the nation. Dave Strom from hotair.com joins us. It all starts at 3.
Weekdays from 3 to 6 on 97.1 FM Talk.
And now, please rise.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Fry Show.
As we work to build a brighter future and to move our nation forward, there are those who are really trying to take us backward. And you, I'm sure, have seen their agenda, Project 2025. Randy, can you believe they put that thing in writing? 900 pages in writing. So Project 2025 is a plan to return America to a dark past. We, the people of the United States,
More perfect.
in order to form a more perfect union,
Heritage legal expert Hans von Spakovsky.
Hans von Spakovsky with the Heritage Foundation knows a little bit about Project 2025, maybe possibly even more than Kamala Harris. Hans, welcome back to the show. It's good to have you here.
Well, thanks for having me back.
So what's with the dark path? There's a question. You can take it from there.
Well, I hate to use the word, but there's no question that Kamala Harris is a liar. And people don't have to believe me. Even CNN, has been actually putting out fact checks. And, for example, I got one up in front of me. Fact check. This is CNN Politics. Harris falsely claims Project 2025 calls for cutting Social Security. Or here's another one where CNN says that her claim that Trump intends to cut Social Security is not true. It doesn't call for an end to the Affordable Care Act. It doesn't eliminate protections for people with pre-existing conditions, all things that Harris has said it does. And even CNN is saying, that's just not true.
That's pretty shocking to hear that, and a good point made by you. We're speaking with Hans von Spakovsky right now. Here's a clip from Elizabeth Warren on Project 2025, more of the assumptions.
I kept thinking about Project 2025. Yeah, I hear J.D. Vance, I hear Donald Trump say working people. But read down in the details of Project 2025, in which Donald Trump has already said that he's ready to go, and J.D. Vance backs him up, on a tax cut that will deliver $3.5 million in tax cuts every year to every billionaire in this country.
Hans, every time I hear them speak on Project 2025, it's always very emotionally charged, and they are very specific about things that come to find out, like you're saying, even CNN is saying, no, not so much. What do you say to Senator Warren there?
Well, she's a liar, just like Kamala Harris. I mean, I don't use that word very often, but It's really true. Project 2025 calls for a tax cut for all Americans. And by the way, you notice how she said at the start that this was, again, this is Donald Trump's plan, Project 2025. See, again, CNN, they're not exactly a friendly news source. They've put out a report saying that a Harris campaign official told them that they know that their claim that this was put together by the Trump campaign is not true. That they made, quote, a deliberate decision to brand all of Trump's policies as Project 2025 since they think that has made it stick with voters. So it's just one long fabrication of what does. Look, here's what I would tell your viewers to do who are worried about these criticisms. As Kamala Harris is beginning, There's no secret to this. It's a 900-page policy proposal. It was not put together by the Trump campaign. The Heritage Foundation started this in 2022, long before Trump even announced he was getting into the campaign. 110 conservative think tanks and organizations, several hundred people. And basically, we went to them and we said, look, if you were put in charge of the executive branch of the federal government in a new administration, how would you run each of the executive departments? How would you reform them? The result is this 900-page policy book. I know people don't have time to read a 900-page policy book, but here's what I would suggest they do. Pick one department you're interested in. Maybe it's Department of Defense. Maybe it's the Justice Department. Maybe it's Department of Education. Just read that one chapter, and I'm willing to bet you that people reading it will finish the chapter and say, you know what? This is common sense.
Yeah.
This is the way these departments ought to be run instead of the way they're being run now.
You know, when I think about those policy positions that Heritage Foundation has had over the years that I've been having conversations with people just like you and many, many others from the Heritage Foundation, there is a conservative, principled perspective that goes behind the conversations that we've had about, legal issues, which we talk with you, Jim Carafano. I can think of a whole bunch of other people we've discussed healthcare issues and so on and so forth over the years. And it's a conservative-based, principled perspective. And when you put all of that down on paper, to me, the only way that you would read through Project 2025 policies and suggestions and come away with being like, what's the phrase? Literally shaking. That's what the psychotic people on Twitter say all the time. I love literally shaking. Is if you have a completely different foundational view of where this country is supposed to go. And in generally speaking, it's not too broad of a statement to say this. If you have a socialistic, near communistic vision for the United States of America, you would probably be aghast at Project 2025. But from what I'm observing, all of the right people are disgusted by Project 2025.
Well, look, I think you're exactly right. If you're someone who wants an all-powerful federal government, one that can dictate to you how you live your life, what you do in your professional career, well, then you won't like Project 2025. It doesn't say we get rid of the federal government. Of course not. We need a federal government. But what it does say is the federal government should stick to the things that Congress has said it ought to do and not abuse its power. I mean, a quick example of that is, look, the stoves that every American has in their kitchen, yeah. Look, the federal government ought to make sure that there are safety standards for them. But the federal government should not be telling you you're not allowed to have a gas stove anymore in your kitchen. Or it's the same thing with automobiles. The only thing that the federal government ought to be doing with respect to automobiles is setting out safety standards that manufacturers have to meet. But telling the manufacturers, in 10 years, we will no longer allow you to manufacture any cars that aren't electric cars, and forcing Americans to do that is not the federal government's role, and it's far beyond their power. And all we're saying is bring the federal government back within the boundaries of where it's supposed to be.
Let's play another clip for you, Hans von Spakovsky, with us right now to defend Project 2025 from what it's being made out to be. Sorry to do this to you, but Joy Behar talked about Project 2025.
So has anyone out there heard of Project 2025? You can clap if you've heard of it. Good. See, our audience is very advanced. They read, they know. But a lot of people don't know about it, so I'm here to tell you what it is. It's a far-right plan for destroying democracy that Trump's team wants to implement on day one. Let me count the ways. They want to ban abortion, starve school children, eliminating breakfast and lunch for school kids. They want to have mass deportations of immigrants. They want to gut health care. This is all just for starters.
Starving children, Hans? You want to starve children with Project 2025?
Everything she just said is a complete fabrication. There's nothing in the look, people can look through it. There's nothing in the 900 pages about banning abortion. There's nothing in there about banning contraceptives. There's nothing in there about eliminating the free lunch program for kids across the country. That is just a total lie. I would really willing to bet you that she hasn't actually read a single page of the 900 page book. In fact, I'm sure she got talking points from the Biden, now Kamala Harris campaign, and that's what she's basing it on. But I'm sure she hasn't read any of it.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you, what do you think that Joy Behar read in order to come to that conclusion? And does any of it include Project 2025? Sounds like your answer is no.
No, she hasn't read it. And like I said, it's just one false claim after another. In fact, look, so many false claims that, like I said at the beginning of our conversation, even CNN is now calling them out and saying, well, they say this, they say that. It's just not true.
What do you make of Donald Trump has pushed it away a little bit. He doesn't want to make it his plan and his policy. The RNC, right before the convention, put out what their vision is so that people who are considering voting Republican can go off this very brief checklist to see what the Republicans are going to stand for. I mean, Donald Trump has criticized Project 2025 a bit, but again, if you look at some of the policies that Donald Trump is putting in place, and if you actually read Project 2025, there's a lot of congruency there. What do you make about President Trump's remarks?
Well, I think first of all, he's in campaign mode, all right? And I know he also hasn't read the 900-page book. But more importantly, I think what he's been reacting to is everyone on the left, from Joy Reid to Kamala Harris, saying, oh, this is the Trump plan. Well, like I said, the Trump campaign had nothing to do with putting together this policy proposal. A bunch of conservative organizations and analysts did. That's really not important. What we hope is that when a new president is elected, whether it's Donald Trump or not, we're going to hand them a copy of this, and we're going to say to them, look, you really should look at this, and we hope you will follow these recommendations the same way when we first did this. I mean, all these critics are talking as if this is something new. Look, the Heritage Foundation put together a Mandate for Leadership book like this when Ronald Reagan was elected. And Ronald Reagan actually...
They probably hate that too, Hans.
Yeah, they hate it. But he actually read it, and he was so impressed with it that he handed out a copy to every one of his cabinet secretaries as their first meeting. And I think we all, those of us old enough to know or remember, know how successful Reagan's 8 years in office were. We had one of the longest, greatest economic expansions in history. Interest rates were low, gasoline prices were low, and we're hoping that, for example, if Donald Trump gets elected, he'll look at our policies and say, these are good ideas.
Yeah, take it into consideration, which is what a wise leader does. Hans von Spakovsky with us right now. Obviously, you've just articulated that Heritage Foundation has been putting together these types of projects or plans for administrations to look at, doing the heavy lifting so that come time for the president and the administration to lead, they have something to go on. Heritage Foundation has been doing this for a long time. Has there ever been a left-leaning think tank or a progressive think tank that has put something together like this before to help lead a leftist administration should they assume office?
Well, yeah. I mean, like the Center for American Progress, but they weren't open about it like we've been. Like I said, nothing we've done is in secret. The Center for American Progress, Brookings Institute, all of them, very liberal think tanks, they've all put out all kinds of policy papers on how they think the government should be run. And, they had big staffing problems, particularly the Center for American Progress and their other liberal advocacy allies when Biden came in, because so many of their people left to go staff the Biden administration, where they have been putting in place their policy views, which are horrible socialist policy views, doing things like, how the claim that we're going to end the free lunch program, that's not in Mandate for Leadership. But what has the Biden administration done within the last couple of months? They've threatened to withhold federal funds for the lunch program to schools that don't allow boys into girls' locker rooms and don't allow boys to compete in girls' athletics. They are the ones doing terrible things like that.
Hans, are you saying that there are like the other side of the aisle think tanks, like Heritages for Conservative Constitutional Principles, that those entities exist on the left side of the aisle, and when Biden assumed office, they left those think tanks to implement that policy in the presidency of Joe Biden? That just happened?
No, that was all pre-planned.
And then they left the administration to prosecute Donald Trump in Manhattan. That happened too. Anywho.
that did happen.
It's just, what a wild ride. Hans, we are always grateful to talk to you. And I know people ask me about Project 2025 all the time. My first answer to people from now on is going to be, how much of it have you read for yourself? And then we'll go from there, because I think that is great advice, as you were suggesting. Hans, we appreciate you. Thanks for being with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. Bye-bye. Hans von Spakovsky is the Senior Legal Fellow at the Heritage Foundation, a very wise man, a very well-read man, and we're grateful to have him on to talk about Project 2025. Listen, if you're listening to the show and you've heard about the boogeyman in the closet that we've now named Project 2025, understand, going back to our conversation with Tammy Bruce at 1225, when you can control language, when you can control vocabulary, if you can name something that you've manifested to be big and scary and frightening and aggressive, and you can't like see that thing, but you know it's on the other side of the closet door and it's going to eat you in your sleep. If you can give that thing a name, then you can talk about it easier. You can converse about it with one another, and you don't even have to dig into the details because you can just call it by the name. That's what Project 2025 is. When you hear people, losing their minds about Project 2025, and they're only basing it off of the psychotic vitriol of lunatics like Joy Reid. I don't use the word lunatic very much. There are people in my industry who they love that word, and I just think that the more you use the word, the less impact it has. Joy Reid is nuts. She is certifiably a nutcase. And when I see her, this is how I watch Joy Reid. Now, I know this is radio, so I'm going to have to describe it. You're squared up to your TV, right? You're watching the news. Joy Reid comes on. I bring my right shoulder back, and I turn. It's a defensive position because I'm ready. And then I kind of wince my face, squint my eyes, and I pull back a little bit because she's a nutcase and she scares me. She's frightening. She is frightening. Joy Reid is the boogeyman in my closet. That's basically what we've come down to. They've named the boogeyman Project 2025. And really, Project 2025, I haven't read the whole thing. I have read parts of it based on conversations I'm going to have with people. And it's just a list of conservative ideals and principles. I understand why that would be frightening to people who hate the Constitution, simply said. So please keep raising your hand and being all frenetic about the idea that Project 2025 is the scariest thing you've ever read. And I know that that's the case because you would be even more frightened by the Constitution if you read it, because boy, does that give the American people power that it restricts from the government. Anywho. Let's get Ryan Wiggins back in the studio. The YouTube live chat poll for today, are you afraid for America's future? Yes or no? We talked with Tammy Bruce at 1225, and her book, Fear Itself, kind of got this question rolling in my head, like, am I afraid about what's coming in America's future? I want to know what you think. So you go to the Annie Fry YouTube channel, vote yes or no, and we'll talk about it when we come back with Ryan Wiggins back in studio. I am so glad to be back here. Come say hi on the YouTube chat. I missed you. We'll be right back.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
The Diamond Shop, you find them online at thediamondshop.net. I love these people. They're good people that matter so much to me when I'm spending money, hard-earned money, or if somebody in my family is spending some of our hard-earned money on me. I love the pieces that I've gotten from the Diamond Shop. I have a beautiful strand of pearls that my husband got for me to mark my birthday and when I originally got this midday show. And it's a very special piece to me. And I know that when he goes to talk to Tom and Mona and Nikki and the staff at the Diamond Shop in Clayton, that he's in good hands, that he's not going to get taken for something, that the piece that he purchases is going to be the highest of quality, and that we'll be able to go back there for maintenance of anything that we get or for the next purchase. I feel comfortable recommending the Diamond Shop to anybody in my life, and I do it here, of course, on the Annie Fry Show, but also personally speaking as well.
The Diamond Shop is located in Clayton. They've been in St. Louis since 1910, and the shop is beautiful. When you walk in, you are going to see all of the wonderful things that they have in there. And if you become a VIP, you're going to be able to save a little extra on top. Just go online to their website, scroll to the bottom, fill out a quick form. You're VIP. Find them at thediamondshop.net.
How do you enjoy your backyard in these hot temperatures? How about a custom sunroom from my friends at Chesterfield Fence and Deck? Mark Cox here. This is a great time to call Chesterfield Fence and Deck because right now, you mention my name during the month of July, you're going to get 48 months interest-free financing on your next outdoor project with Chesterfield Fence and Deck. Maybe it is a custom sunroom, an all-season room where you can sit out there in the summer and you can sit in air conditioning and still enjoy the look out your back windows. Maybe it's a pergola or a screen room or a patio. They even do retaining walls. They can take care of whatever you need in the backyard. They do free estimates, right? And, of course, free project design, which is very important. Maybe you've got your own ideas for your backyard. They can help you make that a reality. You will love working with them. Better Business Bureau Torch Award winners at Chesterfield Fence and Deck. Go online today to chesterfieldfence.com.
If you have a problem with the IRS, believe me, it's not going away on its own. The IRS never gives up. They have endless resources so they control the game. Well, your tax problems can end. I'm attorney Lance Drury with the Drury Law Firm, a local tax resolution firm with an A-plus rating from the Better Business Bureau. I've handled thousands of IRS cases over the last 15 years. So when you hire me, you won't be speaking long distance or sending money to some TV pitchman that's riddled with consumer complaints. Your first visit is completely free and confidential, and I'll tell you on the spot exactly how much it will cost. So call me, Lance Drury, at 314-260-6120. That's 314-260-6120. Or go to Lance, DRURYlaw.com. If you have IRS issues, you need a local attorney. You need me, Lance Drury.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Biden's open border policies are crushing Missouri. Yet, the Jeff City Swamp is boosting a program subsidizing health care for illegals. The same program behind Planned Parenthood's discount abortion scheme. Thankfully, Iraq War veteran Andrew Bailey is on guard. Like Trump, he's a fighter. As your Attorney General, Andrew Bailey won't stop fighting illegal immigrants and Planned Parenthood. Call 314-3406-816 and thank Andrew Bailey. Stand For Us PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. StandForUs.com.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how linking to the market is much safer than owning the market for your retirement savings. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go to retirementkey.com.
Are you afraid for America's future? Yes or no? It's today's YouTube live chat poll. Let us know what you think. Here's how you find it. You go to YouTube, you type in Annie Fry, and not only will the poll come up, but the stream, and you can watch us there. 151. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
It's what's happening
She is going to be the next president of the United States.
right now.
Director Cheadle, I don't think she should resign. I think she should have been fired.
Keeping you informed.
Ma'am, you are a DEI horror story.
97.1 FM Talk. This is the Annie Fry Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Fry Show.
What do you call this kind of music? Ska?
Yeah, and you know how to dance to it?
No.
Yes. You just stand there and bob your head real fast.
Yeah, but you know what it's called?
Would you finish the oatmeal cream
No.
pie before you start talking?
No, we're hanging out.
Go on.
What's it called when you dance to ska music?
I don't know.
Skank.
Is it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Was that just what they call it when you do it?
No. I'm not one of those.
I just gave Ryan a double-decker oatmeal cream pie.
Yeah, so here we go. Ready for the 2 o'clock hour in just a minute.
I handed it to him and I said, I need you to carry the rest of the show.
Which I will. You know what, though? You know, I got a soda and I got an oatmeal cream pie. So I'm going to feel real good for the 2 o'clock hour. And the 3 o'clock hour, I'm going to feel real bad.
What are you doing? You know what? That's not on my time.
No,
I don't
you
care.
Worth it.
What kind of soda are you drinking over there?
Dr. P. You shorten it when you're friends with him. And we have become very acquainted over the years.
Is that regular soda?
Yeah, it is.
Do you ever drink diet?
You know what I started
You're
doing?
diabetic.
I know. You know what I started doing after I found out that I was diabetic or borderline diabetic. Borderline. I'm the border czar.
It's either or.
I started doing half and half.
Diabetic border czar.
I was doing half and half. I was doing half diet or half zero and half regular because I don't really love the taste of the regulars. But if you mix them together, it's not too bad. It's really easy to do at a gas station fountain. But when you're opening 2 cans every day, I'm like, am I really going to stick with this? So today I just got the regular. You should applaud me. You got me an oatmeal cream pie.
I'm not applauding you.
You should. You really should applaud everything I
should
do.
probably take that oatmeal cream pie back.
No. I already put my lips on it.
I'm not going to eat it. I'm going to throw it in the trash can.
Don't do that. That's a waste.
If there was an oatmeal cream pie this is a Seinfeld episode, isn't it? I don't.
It's a donut.
If it's sitting on the top, on a napkin, unmessed by anything else, are you eating that thing?
Yeah, probably.
Oh my gosh, Brad.
I'm
that's a yes.
it.
No.
Yeah, that's a yes.
Hesitation.
Not an oatmeal cream pie, but
no, a donut.
Oh, a donut.
What's your favorite thing?
Oh, if it's a donut?
Bagel.
See,
if it's a bagel,
I
yes.
think in the episode there was a bite taken out of it, though. I don't think it was just a clean donut.
Would that stop you?
My question
that's
is anybody going to see me eat it?
Then that's a yes.
The other question is, are there other donuts around? Like, if that's the last one, it changes things a little bit.
Only one.
But if Mark Cox has leftover donuts from the morning show and you're like, oh, there's still a box and they got 3 or 4 in there, I'm not touching the trash one. Just to be clear.
What if it's your favorite kind of donut in the trash and the other ones are like,
Yeah, I get the trash one. If I know that thing's full of custard, which you're not always sure about, you got to twist it around, see the little hole in it to see what's hanging off the side.
I almost made the YouTube live chat poll for today. Is Joe Biden going to be on the ticket in November, just to see if you'd still think that maybe he was?
You know what's funny is that I've clearly been riding with Biden this whole time. Like, yeah he's going to stick it out.
Yeah, you're one of those.
Yesterday, we didn't correct him, but Ryan Recker goes, man, Ryan, I got to give it to you. You said that Biden was going to leave the race.
What?
He totally
I'm not
did.
kidding.
You
I'm not
didn't
kidding.
correct him?
No, we did not.
Did you correct him, Brad?
I didn't catch him doing it at the time.
Yeah.
Brad, wait. Wrecker said to you, Ryan Wiggins, that you called it early?
He goes, man, you called this thing, Wiggins.
The FCC is holding me back right now.
Did he do that on the previous one? Because I don't remember him doing that when I was here.
So when you were gone, we talked about it. And
Did you laugh?
A little bit. I think when he was here and you guys were gone, I gave some scenarios. This is, possible scenarios. And one of them was this very easily could happen. And I think he just remembered that. And so he's like, well, Wiggins, you called it. I'm like, dang, when I'm right, I'm right.
Give me that oatmeal cream pie right now.
Absolutely not.
Tell everybody how wrong you were. And
No,
how right
I'm
I
licking
was.
this right now.
Ew.
Mine.
Gross.
Mine.
You keep thinking that if I take that oatmeal cream pie away from you that I'm going to eat it. I'm just going to throw it in the trash in front of you.
But I already told you I'll get it back out.
That's like the meanest thing I think I could do is remove an oatmeal cream pie from your
What I'm
possession
doing-
and throw it in the trash in front of you.
That is mean. The thing that I would do, though, is make sure that nobody else was going to get it out of the trash after our conversation.
Were you surprised when Biden dropped out?
At this point, no.
What, today?
No. At the point that he did it.
Are you finally coming to grips with
At
it?
the point that he did it, I was like, everything in the world had pressed him to do it. If he didn't, I would have been shocked.
I want to see the clip of Ryan pretending like he's been calling this forever.
It was great. It really should be a reel.
It's like an inside joke to like 12 of us.
I know. No. Everybody's listening has known that I've been saying, no, he's not going to drop out. So if you heard that yesterday, I want to know what your reaction was.
I was trying really hard to not be like, see, I told you. As
But
it
you
was
did.
happening. No, just now. And I did it fast. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential. But finding those people can be a major hassle. Unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
A weak White House, an invasion of illegals, and the woke mob attacking our values. That's what Phil Cristofanelli is fighting for Missouri's future. He supported sending the National Guard to secure the southern border. He defunded sanctuary cities. And Phil Cristofanelli backs the blue to keep our neighborhoods safe from gangs, fentanyl, and human traffickers. He's been named one of Missouri's most conservative legislators year after year. Cristofanelli stands up to the radical left and weak-kneed Republicans. Pro-life, he helped pass one of the nation's strongest anti-abortion laws and defunded Planned Parenthood. Pro-Second Amendment, he stood up for our gun owners and constitutional rights. And Cristofanelli is keeping men out of girls' sports and locker rooms. Phil Cristofanelli, an unwavering conservative for state senate.
Paid for by friends of Phil Cristofanelli, Dan Raker's treasurer.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio.
That's GetJim.com.
97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Talking Mideast peace, I'm Jack Callahan, Fox News. President Biden meeting at the White House with Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who praised the president for 50 years of supporting Israel.
I look forward to discussing with you today and working with you in the months ahead on the great issues before us.
I look forward to as well.
Later, Vice President Harris will meet separately with the Prime Minister. The Vice President spoke earlier to the National Convention of the American Federation of Teachers, suggesting she and the union have some common foes.
While you teach students about our nation's past, these extremists attack the freedom to learn and acknowledge our nation's true and full history, including book bans. Book bans in this year of our Lord 2024.
Vice President Harris also putting out a statement condemning the sometimes violent protests in Washington yesterday that saw demonstrators pull down American flags, burn them, and replace them with Palestinian flags. National Security Council Communications Advisor John Kirby acknowledges Iran is backing some of the protesters.
The Director of National Intelligence came out publicly and said that we do know that Iran has been funding and encouraging some of the protest activity here in the United States. Some of it.
Kirby says some of the protests are organic. The House today voted to condemn the administration's border policies and Vice President Kamala Harris for supporting them.
We all remember the widely publicized delegation that Vice President Kamala Harris conducted and led, saying, "Do not come, do not come." And millions of illegals poured into our country since then.
New York Republican Congresswoman Elise Stefanik, 6 Democrats in the House voted for the resolution. Wall Street, an hour before the close, the Dow up 235 points. America is listening to Fox News.
The doctor's office that accidentally mixed up your files has your social security number. The power company that mistakenly cut your service has your payment info. And the hotel that lost your reservation has your passport number. You need LifeLock because your personal info is in endless places that can expose you to identity thieves. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points every second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it, guaranteed or your money back. Save up to 40% with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
87 should do it for the high this afternoon, and we'll continue to keep an eye out for a couple of spot thunderstorms, but where they pop, there'll be downpours of rain and lightning. Tonight, partly cloudy skies, 70. The atmosphere goes quiet. Friday, mostly sunny, 86. Nothing more than spot thunderstorms on Saturday, 86. Scattered thunderstorms on Sunday, so a little uptick, but no all-day rain. 88 Sunday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Mark Cox here. Did you know the Rockwood School District is a great place to work? They're currently hiring school bus drivers, cafeteria workers, and custodial staff, as well as summer positions for mowers and landscapers. They have openings in Adventure Club, which is before and after school care. They offer competitive pay, flexible work hours, and a rewarding work environment. Discover the Rockwood Advantage and join an amazing team. Go to rsdmo.org/jobs. That's rsdmo.org/jobs.
The Retirement Advisory Group online at retirementkey.com. They're having another event, and I'll be there. I hope you will too. You do need to reserve your spot in order to make sure that you have a seat there. They have filled up the last few times that we've been out, but it's the Protecting Your Retirement educational event. It is free. You pay nothing to go. You get to learn it's like 45 minutes of listening to Thomas Helbig and Bob and Tammy Kershaw talk to you about how they can help you make that transition. It is an important, small portion of your retirement. From the timeline standpoint, where you are leaving working and going into retirement, you need to make some smart moves there, and you need to not miss the boat. They will walk you through this transition. They will help guide you in making the correct decisions, and it all starts at a free event like this. It's Tuesday, August 6th at the Frontenac Hilton. It starts at 6:30 p.m. I will get there at 6 o'clock, and I will stay there up until 6:30 when we begin the event. I'll welcome you along with my good friends Mark Cox and Mark Reardon, and then we turn it over to Thomas Helbig. So if you want to meet me, make sure that you get the reservation at 314-993-9494, and you show up closer to 6 o'clock than 6:30 so I can meet you. That would be so awesome. All the details online at retirementkey.com.
Joe Biden and the radical left opened our borders. They sent border wall materials to the scrapyard and let in more than 7 million illegal immigrants. Why? They think they're importing future Democrat voters, changing our elections forever. Mary Elizabeth Coleman is fighting back. She's a conservative mom on a mission, running for Secretary of State to save the integrity of our elections. Here's Mary Elizabeth Coleman.
There are 77,000 illegals in Missouri. This isn't just an invasion, it's an occupation. I'm Mary Elizabeth Coleman, and I'm running for Secretary of State to save the sanctity of your vote and mine. I'll fight election fraud and ballot harvesting, and I will never let illegal immigrants dilute your vote. And I will stand up to the woke radicals who want to censor our speech, persecute people of faith, and repeal our Second Amendment rights. I'm Mary Elizabeth Coleman, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Friends of Mary Elizabeth Coleman.
Don't let a cold, sinus infection, or allergies ruin your day. Breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier with Navage. Visit Navage.com, Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, or a store near you.
Missouri, it's time to vote. The Missouri primary is August 6th, and early voting is happening now. Make your voice heard. Cast your vote in the Missouri primary. Democracy 2024. It's happening now on 97.1 FM Talk.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Hey, welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. It's 2 o'clock on a, what day is it?
Thursday.
Yay.
Monday.
Hurrah, no.
Does it feel like Monday to you?
No, it feels like nothing day.
Right. I get that
I know
because I
that
came
day.
back from Japan and was like, what's happening?
Vacation. So I left Friday, whatever date that was, 2 Fridays ago, right from the studio to head on vacation. We always fly to Florida. This year we drove to Florida. New experience. kind of kicking around. We need to wait, give a little bit more time from the actual drive in order to be like, do we want to do this again? For my family, we are hoping, we're planning, we are going to, I'm saying this, I'm not going to make it like it's, let me just put on your calendar next year when all of the big news is going to happen. So if you want my take my vacation, sometime in June next year, we are going to Hawaii to celebrate my parents' 50th wedding anniversary. And my brother's going to go, his family's going to go, my family's going to go. So I've been trying like crazy to make sure that I save up airline points, Southwest Airlines Rapid Rewards points, because I want to be able to fly that. I've got 6 people I have to fly because I've had all these kids, and they want to go too.
Selfish.
I know. Like, this would be so much easier without children. They're listening right now going, hey, but they know. It's going to be wonderful to take the family out there to celebrate my parents. Did you guys ever do golden 50th wedding anniversary parties at, like, the American Legion growing up? You remember those?
I do.
They were like wedding receptions, but
We just did one for my in-laws. And
you did?
Yes.
I didn't know if people still did that.
Yeah, we didn't do it at American Legion. We did it at our church, but it was big, swanky. Yeah.
Oh, swanky.
Yeah.
That's different because American Legion was not.
Could be.
Really? Oh, the ones I went to. Well, okay. The ones I went to weren't.
Ryan.
So.
I think it depends on what you want to do with it. I love, I dare say prefer an American Legion VFW wedding reception.
Yeah,
those are good.
Yeah, no objection here.
It's like, let's put the emphasis on the party.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So we're going to Hawaii next year, and I've been trying to save up on Southwest Airlines points because that's how I make it so that my family can travel. My husband and I work hard to make sure that we budget accordingly. But if you don't have to pay for airfare, that makes everything a little more doable. Well, this year, instead of flying 6 people to Florida, we decided we'll drive. I estimate that it saved us about $2,500.
That's significant.
The whole time we were driving, I'm like, imagine at the end of our destination, someone hands me $2,500. And then I'm like, worth it. But I had to remind myself that a lot.
Yeah.
The kids traveled great. Molly, 3-year-old, she was wonderful. It was funny because you could see the arc of her energy throughout the day. She's in her little car seat in the back. We've got in our Pacifica that we got from Cassins in 2019, the end of 2019. It has televisions in it. When we bought that van, we thought we have to be in the car an hour for those TVs to open up because we want our kids to be able to sit and entertain themselves or just think thoughts as opposed to constantly be entertained. Then COVID set in. And we would go get in the car and drive around. Our kids would play Pokemon or something. We would just go drive around. And we'd spend hours in the car because it was not home.
Yeah, we did too.
So
we saw so much of Illinois and Southern Illinois, but it was all closed. So you'd drive up to a park and be like, hey, I can see a fort. Too bad we can't go in it.
Yeah, well, just look. There it is. So the screens became a little more used due to COVID, which is the case of screens all around. If you wanted to separate people because you were stuck in your house and you needed space from one another, screens did that for a lot of people and dramatically impacted the way we were policing that in our family. But Molly would take a nap and all of a sudden she'd be wide awake and she would never throw any fits. She was never grouchy, but she just was she was just talking. And she'd have her little headphones on, and you got to go buy the headphones that are for kids so that they can't turn the volume up or whatever. But all of a sudden, she'd like shriek out something because of the cartoon or whatever she was watching. But we were driving through and down to Florida. We went to Jacksonville. We got to see the beach there and everything. And it's a long drive, but it is amazing how beautiful our country is. I think when people come to the Midwest, specifically Illinois, and I've said this before, Southern Illinois. Yes, I know that if you go to like Southern Illinois, it becomes way less flat. But it is dramatic how flat. Mm-hmm. If you drive from here to Chicago on 55, you can see for miles and miles and miles and miles in every direction. And I'm used to that. Then you go drive through the Smoky Mountains or you just drive through these other areas. We went to D.C. Over July 4th weekend, and so we were driving through Pennsylvania and those mountains. It's just like stunningly beautiful to see that. And if you fly, you don't get to see that.
We took a road trip 2 years ago with our whole family, and we were doing the same thing. Like, this is a lot of time in the car. We drove to the western part of South Dakota, almost Wyoming.
Wow.
And
How long is that drive?
well, we did 8 hours the first day. And the second day was only supposed to be 5 or 6, but we stopped at every tourist trap along the way in South Dakota, and that was so fun. And to get there, it probably ended up being about 9-hour day the second day too. But we loved it so much. We haven't really taken a long road trip since. I think we're going to do it again next year and go to Williamsburg. I don't know if you've ever been there.
Mm-mm.
Williamsburg, Virginia, and see all the history.
Yeah. The DC trip that my husband and I took was more centered around watching the Cardinals play the Nationals. So it's like, these are the things, we have to be in this place at this time. We saw the Pittsburgh Cardinals game on July 4th, and then we were going to see the Cardinals national game on July 5th. And then it was so hot. It was hotter in DC than it was in Florida and was here. We decided on July 6th, we're like, let's just go to the Cardinals game again. They were playing well. They did not play well that game. It was a bad game. But let's just go again and check it out. But in the middle of all of that, seeing all the history and everything, because there's so much stuff that you just go up and stand there and look at it and take in the history or whatever. It's important. And I really appreciate flying. I think in the future that if in the moment we can afford to fly, a lot of times what we would do to Florida is I pay with points going down and cash coming back. That makes it a little more manageable. But the Hawaii thing next year, I've never been to Hawaii. I know you had your honeymoon there.
Yep.
And you were there for how long?
7 days.
And that was maybe 15 years ago-ish?
Yeah, right around there.
And have you been?
No, but I love island life. That's why we went to Iceland.
Mm-hmm. It's the same thing.
Mhm,
Totally
pretty much
the same.
Wearing your mask in all those places.
Oh, gosh, I can't even imagine.
Man.
In Hawaii, the heat. Actually, it's not bad there. Never mind. It's the climate's awesome.
Hawaii,
pretty moderate.
Yeah.
I was going to say Hawaii has the same average temperature as St. Louis does, with way less variability.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't get too hot and it doesn't get too cold. It's just gorgeous all the time.
I don't know if you got much questions or feedback from me being gone. I mean, were these the two most consequential news weeks of our life?
I can confidently say yes. We were talking about this very thing quite a bit because it was so much. But it was almost exactly a week if you consider Saturday through the next Sunday when Biden actually put out the tweet and Kamala Harris became the presumptive nominee.
Somebody put out the tweet.
Anyway. That week, I think it might be the most consequential news week in American history. There have been bigger events, like singular events, but that many of those big events in 1 week, I don't know that you could find it.
It was difficult. I don't like to look at politics when I'm on vacation.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be present with my kids. I want to decompress. I don't want to be confronted with I'm a thinker by nature. If I'm reading a story, I'm going to think about it, and it's not punitive or self-destructive. That's just what I do. That's why I'm here. And I had the news on every day at the hotel. If I got a news alert, I tried to let the headline say what it needed to say. I might click through, but I didn't read many articles. But it was a challenge this time to stay apart from it. And I'm looking back. I'm glad my vacation was as long as it was, because if all of that would have had, I'm sorry to the many kind people who said that they missed me. I appreciated that. I loved hearing that, because you don't want to come back and be like, yeah, no one really said anything.
Right.
Nobody cared. Go back on vacation permanently. But if I wouldn't have taken as much time, it would have really kind of soured the whole thing. So since I was gone long enough, I felt like I can dip in, I can watch it, I can lay in the resort room in the air conditioning, or we were at the pool at the resort when Biden stepped down, and I just yelled out, "Told him to wait till Thursday." It's like all I wanted was every day that passed, I was like, we're closer to Thursday. We're closer, because if you've been listening to the show, I've been confident he is not going to be the nominee. I mean, Brad, how long have I been saying this? Like, since he was inaugurated, basically.
Pretty much. Yeah. Since he was inaugurated, you're like, there's no way this guy figures it out. Well, he was saying it whenever he first got inaugurated. He referred to himself as a transitional president, but everybody's like, there's no way. We weren't sure that he would even finish out his first term. let alone be the nominee.
I still think that's on the table.
Mm-hmm.
I've said on this show many times when we've been having this discussion that the powers that be in the Democrat Party are going to tell Biden this is what's going to happen. And he's going to either go along with it or he's not. And I've said on this show many times that they're going to tell Joe we can do it our way or we can do it the hard way. And that's like a verbatim quote from what they're saying Nancy Pelosi has been saying about this.
Yeah. Yeah, it's messed up. It's super messed up. It is now.
You really nailed this one, Ryan Wiggins.
Yeah, thank you. You know what? I said this before, and I'll say it again since you're here now. I never, ever will bet on a black swan event. Things that are that rare to happen, they might happen, but I'm going to never bet on them because they usually don't happen. This was one of those that they actually, you were exactly right about the debate, though. I mean, putting it at that date looks now so conspiratorial, like, hey, let's put it here so that we can make sure that he looks either terrible or great, one of the two. And if he looks terrible, we'll push him out. And that's exactly what happened.
How easy do you think it would be for someone to tell Howard Stern, ask him if he's going to debate? That was That was the catalyst for everything.
Yeah.
You think Howard Stern wants to be on the inside of the club?
Yes.
And it's a simple question. It's a good question.
Yeah.
If Joe Biden, the whole debate thing, what did he say? Something about pal? Make my day, pal?
Make my day, pal.
Didn't win that one. The whole spiral out of that one question on a Howard Stern show where Howard Stern throws out there something about him going to debate. And he's like, yeah, absolutely. And everybody was like, you are? And then he doubled down with making that challenge. And Trump said, sure, let's go. Your terms. Let's do it.
At this point, you almost think Trump should have said, let's delay it a little bit closer to the Democratic convention.
He has said himself that the absurdity of the date on this was, I've heard other people say he shouldn't have done it agree to do it that early. He had to do it. Donald Trump had to agree to the terms because a lot of people suspect, and I don't know where I am on this, it doesn't really matter, that Joe Biden threw that challenge out because he knew that Trump would turn it down. Or that if Donald Trump said, I'll do it, but it's not on CNN. I'll do it, but it's not that early. I'll do it, but we have to have an audience. I'll do it, but you can't mute mics. If he would have had any buts in there, Biden will say, I thought you said any terms, and I'm not doing it. These are the terms, or we're not doing it. And then it doesn't happen.
Yeah, you're right.
Ultimately, would that be better for Donald Trump? Because for whatever particular reason, maybe Joe Biden still is the guy, maybe, but Donald Trump ended his campaign. Donald Trump ended Joe Biden on debate night. We sat with a packed room of people at Dave & Buster's with our jaws dropped because of how bad it was. And this cannot be undersold. Donald Trump got out of Joe Biden's way that night. And that is not standard issue Donald Trump. Donald Trump tends to want to do the thing that makes the headline. He wants to be the headline. A lot of times, in my mind, to his own detriment, but that's the way he rolls. You get it. If you want Donald Trump, you get Donald Trump. You are not going to dictate to Donald Trump how he's going to be. The absolute opposite exists for Joe Biden. He is whatever they tell him he's going to be that day, that minute. And for whatever reason, the reason why I feel like it was a dramatic setup to get Joe Biden out there is because, as I have said, they told Joe, we can do this the nice way, or we can do this the hard way. And I don't think Joe / all capitals Jill agreed to that. Joe, you've got all the delegates. They're yours. We're going to make this the case that they got to have to remove you. They're not going to remove you. They're going to have to remove you. And I think recently, maybe this past weekend, they said, we're going to remove you. And we've got all the evidence we need to remove you. They're sitting in the Hurt tapes right over there. We're turning them over. And the whole house of cards comes crashing down. And Joe knows that the only way to protect any legacy that he thinks he has is to play game. And he says, I'm finishing my term. And they say, that's fine. You can finish your term.
See, I don't know that I believe that, though, because the media told me that what he did was courageous and heroic.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
his decision. So.
I was about to get really miffed that you were going to disagree with that. Just sit there. I'm out of practice. I forget that your sarcastic comments are usually what happens in those instances. I mean, the amount, the way to look at everything that has happened is to completely, ultimately to Ryan's point here, completely ignore what the media is telling you.
Mm-hmm.
It's all bull crap. It's all manufactured to create an end. And their end justifies any means to get there. This is not new practice for politics. Republicans have done it before, but they don't have the successful control over what the media is going to consistently, from medium to medium to medium, put out there so that you can consume it. I am the most angered at what's her face on MSNBC. She always looks really angry.
Joy Reid?
No, she is angry.
Jen Psaki?
No.
Mika Brzezinski?
Long hair. Just looks really upset, frustrated all the time.
I don't remember.
Oh.
She
doesn't open her mouth all the way when she talks. I know. I can see her face.
When you listen to... This is how impactful she is on
talks
our
like
life.
this. She just doesn't move her mouth very much. But she says she's going to go to jail.
When you listen to the way they speak and the things that they say, and that they always end up attacking you. Her name's Nicole Wallace. Listen to this.
There's a growing and insidious trend in right-wing media, broadcast, print, and social media. It is to take highly misleading and selectively edited videos of President Biden directly from Republican National Committee social media accounts, and then use those videos to spread messages virally to cast doubt on President Biden's fitness for office.
What a lying wench. June 18th. June 18th. That's a month before. They're like, he's so unfit for office, we're going to 25th Amendment you unless you play ball with us. It's not just that they're not just trying to make the case. This is the key here. They're not making the case that what we see with our own eyes is not really the full context of the story. That in reality, maybe he's slower than somebody who's half his age, but he's up to the job. And we have a lot of examples of how he is up to the job. The whole point of that is not to make the case that Joe Biden is capable. The whole point of that is to make sure that the right-wing, insidious people like you are still the common enemy. And that's what makes me angry. That's what gets under my skin. Because don't pee on my back and tell me it's raining. That's what we have here. You know something to be absolutely true. And they not only tell you that you're wrong, they call you names while they do it to make sure that the other people watching feel comfortable and familiar with their surroundings of how hateful and deceitful the right-wing media types and people like you who consume them, how stupid and hateful you are. And none of that is true either. The reason why I've seen this coming for so long is because I don't listen to what people are saying. I look at what I see and what you can see, and I say to myself, they can't win with Joe Biden. It doesn't matter. If I thought that they could get away with it, I would have said he'd be on the ticket. But our eyes overcome their mouths. And it's too completely obvious that Joe Biden is an elderly man with a poor memory. And the only thing that is out for debate right now is if he's well-meaning. Because I don't think he is. I actually think Joe Biden's a pretty terrible guy.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he's ascended to the presidency through a lot of terrible means. I don't feel sorry for him. He dug this. I was going to say, he dug this hole.
Okay.
It's about 6 foot deep.
No.
That's no.
Why would it be? I mean, like maybe 2.
Yeah, a couple feet deep.
Did you see he looked taller in his last?
I did.
Oh, anyway.
He looked about 3 inches taller. Why?
The YouTube poll for today was going to be, do you think there are multiple Joe Bidens? And I couldn't pull the trigger on it.
Tomorrow.
I thought it could be a Friday poll.
Which Joe Biden do you like the best? 1, 2, or 3?
Tall Joe Biden,
6
young
foot
Joe
Joe
Biden,
Biden?
spry Joe Biden. I get 4 options. Real Joe Biden. Where is he? Anyway,
Anyway.
let's take a quick break. Go vote on today's poll, which is not are there multiple Joe Bidens, but you can weigh in on that in the comments on the YouTube channel if you so choose. Are you afraid for America's future? Yes or no? We'll be right back.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Stewart's American Mortgage and the Bagel Loan. I want you to understand how smart of a move it is to reach out to Stewie and ask him about how he can help you with your mortgage, whether you're getting a new one because you're buying a new home or if you are looking to refinance. When mortgage rates come down, yes, even from their super high highs, if you were in the unfortunate timing position to get one of those mortgages when they were super high, you can refinance right now, and it doesn't cost you anything when you qualify for the Bagel Loan. Ask Stewie directly by calling or texting 314-324-4440, 314-324-4440, and say, hey, Annie said something about a bagel loan, 0 closing costs. You could say, I don't believe you. Prove it to me. And he will. And he did it to me. That's why I refied twice with the bagel loan. And I'm incredibly glad I did because I have a super low rate. And I was able to lock that in with Stewie and a bagel loan. Reach out to him and have the conversation today. 314-324-4440. When you use the bagel loan, there are 0 closing costs. I speak from experience. 314-324-4440. Google the bagel loan. NMLS number 226715.
I was having a lot of sinus infections. My sinuses were clogged, pressure, headaches.
Linda suffered for years with chronic sinus infections.
You don't feel like doing anything. When you feel like your head is completely clogged, all you want to do is just lay down and sleep. And the pressure, it's just not fun, always walking around with a headache.
Now, her issues are gone. How? A minimally invasive procedure done in the office of St. Louis Sinus Centers called balloon sinuplasty.
I really did not know what it was like to feel like you're really breathing and not being so clogged up. I would do it again in a heartbeat, and I would definitely recommend it for someone else.
Do you suffer with chronic sinus infections, facial pain, pressure, congestion? Find out if balloon sinuplasty is the solution for you. Set an appointment today with St. Louis Sinus Centers. Call 314-332-2885. 314-332-2885. That's 314-332-2885.
This summer, take a trip down memory lane with me and hear from the legends of baseball. I'm Brett Boone from the Brett Boone Podcast. Every week I have a conversation with one of baseball's greats to talk about the glory days and reflect on today's game. Randy Johnson, Pete Rose, Deion Sanders, Jay Buhner, Albert Bell, and Goose Gossage, they've all shared their wisdom with stories of their playing days. To hear who's next, follow and listen to the Brett Boone Podcast on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Sick of those annoying ads slowing you down online? Introducing i3 Broadband's 100% fiber optic network with advanced whole home Wi-Fi. With speeds up to 8 gigabits, buffering is so yesterday. Our rock-solid connection keeps you streaming, gaming, and browsing without a hitch, thanks to our ad blocking feature. No contracts, no hidden fees, just pure internet bliss. And we've got a no-risk 30-day money-back guarantee. Dial 877-976-0711 or swing by i3broadband.com/STL. We're local, reliable, and committed to St. Louis.
Patriots like President Trump never stop fighting for their country. Because Trump knows America's on life support and says Dr. Bob Onder can help him save it. Trump's endorsed Dr. Bob Onder for Congress, calling him an incredible America First patriot who will fight tirelessly for our families and conservative values. Dr. Bob Onder, the Trump-endorsed America First conservative. Kurt Schaefer is different. Trump calls Schaefer weak on MAGA because Trump knows his record, voting to let foreign-owned entities buy up Missouri farmland. Now China owns over 40,000 acres. And Schaefer's campaign took $30,000 from a Chinese-owned company. He won't make America great. He'll make China rich. If given the chance, Schaefer will do it again. Win It Backpack is responsible for the content of this ad. Paid for by Win It Backpack. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. WinItBackpack.com.
Biden's open border policies are crushing Missouri. Yet, the Jeff City Swamp is boosting a program subsidizing health care for illegals. The same program behind Planned Parenthood's discount abortion scheme. Thankfully, Iraq War veteran Andrew Bailey is on guard. Like Trump, he's a fighter. As your Attorney General, Andrew Bailey won't stop fighting illegal immigrants and Planned Parenthood. Call 314-340-6816 and thank Andrew Bailey. Stand For Us PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. StandForUs.com.
Supporting your nutrition should be easy. That's why we created the Neovitin Women's Multivitamin monthly subscription. Get your daily Neovitin Women's Multivitamin delivered directly to your door every month. You can pause or cancel your subscription at any time with no long-term obligations. With B vitamins to support energy, vitamin D for bone support, and our physician-formulated proprietary blend, Neovitin Women's Multivitamin is here to support your nutrition every day. Start supporting your nutrition and sign up for a monthly Neovitin Women's Multivitamin subscription today at neovitin.com.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is proud to support Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Sign your veteran up for the Honor Flight today at gsLHonorFlight.org. And for heating services, visit aircomfortservice.com.
For details and a list of all station contest rules, visit www.971talk.com/rules.
I listen to 97.1 on the Odyssey app.
Download it. It's easy.
Yeah, it's super easy.
To listen to 97.1 FM Talk, no matter where you are. Your home for conservative talk. 97.1 FM Talk. This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter @AnnieFryShow.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. Appreciate you being with us this afternoon. I'm back from vacation, excited to be here, and just trying to get back in the swing of things. I'm not going to say I was nervous coming back, but with so much news, it's hard to take off 5, 6, 7, 8 broadcast days of this magnitude and come back. I have to respect that you have been here. You have been listening to the news as it happens. I'm not going to come on and be like, the president was shot. And then you guys be like, oh my gosh, tell us more.
It's not real until you say it, though.
Yeah. It's interesting to try to, you're trying to jump back into the revolving door and you don't want to squish.
Well, it is tough because normally I would think you would come back in and you'd grab what's been going on the last day or so and be like, okay, let's get back into the stride here. But the earth has turned since you were gone. And so getting back into the stride is not even the same. Getting back on and talking about, well, here's Joe Biden's record and stuff. It's like, no. All that's different now. You have a vice presidential nominee now, and you have one that's also running for president.
Yep. If you have any questions specifically for me, I can try to answer some of them before we wrap up the show. You got to ask them on the Annie Fry YouTube channel. Would love to have you there and vote in today's poll as well. Are you afraid for America's future, yes or no? Let's talk about that. Ryan, you have been here covering this the whole time we were out. I don't know if the last 2 weeks impact your answer to this question, but would you say you're afraid for America's future?
The last few weeks don't necessarily impact this. My answer is yes, either way. I am very, very concerned and even afraid about the direction that things could turn. We have on one side of the aisle a elected former president running for president, and on the other side you have a selected person by basically big donors who is way far left. And I'm talking like communist, far left.
You have to be more specific. Are you talking about Harris or Biden?
I'm talking about Harris now.
Yeah. The most liberal senator in the Senate, which they're now purging from record.
Who was not elected. She was selected by donors, essentially, and powerful people to be the next nominee. And that scares me, not just because of the election, but because of the ramifications of those things. If you have just powerful people who are able to select presidents, what is a democracy? What is a representative democracy at that point? And that's where we're sitting. And it really does frighten me that if we've gotten to the point where the media is that powerful and these people are that powerful that they can just select somebody and say, this is your new person, which they tried to do in 2016 with Hillary Clinton over Bernie Sanders. They did it in 2020 with Joe Biden over Pete Buttigieg and Amy Klobuchar. He hadn't won a single state. They select people, and then sometimes they win. And if they continue to get their way, that really concerns me. So the answer is yes to the poll.
Brad?
Yeah, I'm a yes on this poll, and kind of Ryan speaks to a little bit about worries me, but the other part of that worries me is that there's two very different ideas of what America should be going forward. There's one group of people that, in the Make America Great Again, they want to go back to constitutional values. They want to go back to the Constitution. They want to do the things the way that we've always done it, the things that had been decidedly American. And then there's another group that will look at that and saying, if you want to go backwards in what America's doing, then you want to do something terrible because what America was isn't good. I mean, by wanting to fundamentally change America, you've got a group of people and a large contingent of people that are out there saying that America is not good and that we need to fundamentally change it to make it into something good. I don't like that for our country because that's how you get civil wars. And there's not a lot of middle ground right now, and a lot of that is because of the name calling and the flame throwing from each side. I mean, it's not one side or the other. You hear people calling people demon rats, libtards, all these other things. You get Trumplicans and all other sorts of names coming from the other side. There's not a lot of middle ground. There used to be a point in time in U.S. history where you could say, I don't agree with your candidate, but you're still an American. And you look at it was just, you could come together and find middle ground, and we're not there. And I don't know what the way forward is. And it's gotten to the point where somebody has shot at one of the presidential candidates and actually hit him in the ear.
They're questioning whether that even happened.
And the questioning of it, I mean, we watched it happen.
Does it
we watched
matter?
The video.
I mean, you see bullets flying past Donald Trump's face. If it turns out, which I don't think we'll ever hear the truth of the matter, if it turns out that he got hit in the ear by glass or some shrapnel from something else that was hit by a bullet, it doesn't matter at all that there was a person in a position firing upon the former president of the United States, potential next president of the United States, with intent to kill.
Right.
That happened. Donald Trump is alive today without question in my mind because of divine intervention. We are blessed that he lived through that, but we also have to have our eyes wide open that the intention of that act was that he wouldn't be here today. And then our party would be in a level of chaos that the Democrat Party is somewhat in a level of chaos right now. Kamala Harris is not the nominee yet.
Yeah, she's not.
I anticipate that will be the outcome, but we don't know that. And in my mind, the period now until, like a week and a half or so from today, when the Democrats have their convention, is the trial period. How do people react? What kind of support do you get? What kind of money do we make? It's like, it's yours to lose. And she could lose it in this amount of time if the Democrats decide that's what they want to do. That's the position they've put them in, to have a selection, not an election. That's what the Democrats have chosen. These are the people who say that if you vote for Republicans, if you vote for Donald Trump, you're voting for the end of democracy. I don't think that they understand what democracy means specifically, not what a republic means. When I have to think about the question, if I'm afraid for America's future, the initial answer is yes. And it lies completely on the media that fear exists. Because if the media were doing its true task, they would be exposing truth. We would have answers to some. I mean, the amount of ridiculousness that exists in some of the questions that people are asking themselves. People are legitimately asking the question, like, are there multiple Joe Bidens? And there are enough things out there that suggest that that Joe Biden has been managed and puppeted through his administration, that he isn't calling the shots. The extreme nature with which the left in the media has gaslit, going back to that Nicole Wallace clip that was in the middle, it was June 18th, that she was saying that the idea that Joe Biden is somehow or another not up to the job through going to Karine Jean-Pierre's cheap fakes, manipulated video and audio, that means that if you saw that and you believe that, you are insidious. That's the reality that exists right now, and that's what scares me, because we don't have a handshake agreement in a bipartisan way to tell the truth. And the only way to kill the greatest experiment in country building that has ever existed on the face of the planet is to deny truth and to prioritize power over truth. And there are people who have sold their hearts and souls to the idea of prioritizing this power. So you're going to need to have people who are willing to fight to get to the truth. And the truth is going to be ugly. The truth, whatever truths come out, truth is not Republican. Truth is not conservative. It just is. It doesn't have a lean. It doesn't have a bent. Truth is. You can't have your truth and I have my truth. You can have your opinion and I can have my opinion. And if it's both based on fact and truth, then there's a conversation that should be had, because that's how you can persuade one another. But when you look at something and you see one thing and I see another because of the channels that we choose to tune into, we can't have confidence that what comes next in this country is going to be what's best for the country, because we truly live in different realities. So my initial answer to this question, being fearful for America's future, is yes, I am. But at the same time, if you look at the arc of what the United States has gone through, the challenges that the United States has met, and the way that America in the past has overcome these challenges for the better every single time, if this is the growth opportunity that America has to go through, we just need to make sure that we have enough people fighting for truth, not for Republicans, not for Democrats, but for truth, and being willing to see that truth, even when it doesn't necessarily go 100% your way, to be resolved in the idea that truth is the most important thing that we need to seek out. I'm not on TikTok personally, but the TikTok videos I see on Twitter or wherever they pop up, these people who are losing their minds, we have amplified mental illness. We have spotlighted people who are suffering for certain different things and tried to tell them that the thing that they're suffering from is normal and good, instead of trying to help these people. And then going back to what Tammy Bruce was talking about at 12:25 on the show with us, with her new book, you create the oppressed and the oppressors. And then you monetize that. You use that to gain power. You don't use it to fix the problem. You don't use those truths to actually remedy something for someone that provides them an escape from that thing that they're suffering from. All you do is say, I see you. And you tell them that you notice this thing about them, and then you tell them over and over and over and over again that they are victims. But you never provide them the support and the confidence to show them that they can truly have strength in the midst of whatever they're suffering from. Because if they were to overcome it, then the left would no longer be able to manipulate it for their own retention of power. I actually see a lot of people coming out of the woodwork right now, more interested in truth. And it's like the consequence of wanting to see and live in the idea of what is real. The downstream consequence of that is to not vote for more of the same, is to get the Joe Biden apparatus, whatever that looks like, out. And if that means Trump, fine. I think Hulk Hogan, the way he spoke about having supported Trump for so long, but Donald Trump was shot, and he's like, I can't sit on the sidelines anymore. That's the spirit that's going into November that gives me hope for the future. And hope is the antithesis of fear. So I think there's a lot of good to come. Participate in the good and push away the bad. The things about elections and news and everything that grate on you, that make you scared, push it away and replace it with something that gives you hope, and share that. And you don't really have a need for hope if fear doesn't exist. So fear can be a driving motivator. Use it for something that is good. And share it with people, because if we don't share it with people, they'll never know anything different than what the left has been pushing on them and pushing on them and pushing on them in their deceitful coverage of the news over the last way longer than 4 years, 20 years. Let's take a quick break. We'll get to the results of the poll when we come back. I see a couple questions that have come on about my vacation or just whatever, my reaction to some news. I can answer a few of those when we come back as well on the Annie Fry YouTube channel. You can go vote. Are you afraid for America's future? Yes or no? Or you can leave a comment or a question. We'll be right back.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
The Ruler Foods website, rulerfoods.com. You go there and the delivery option is now live for you, which means you can save money by shopping at Ruler Foods and have it delivered directly to your door. That's fantastic. I encourage you to check that out. They have great savings on all of the products that you normally put in your cart. They have the name brands you love, but they also carry Kroger brands at Ruler Foods prices. It's an extra way to save when you're shopping at Ruler Foods. My family appreciates that. We love to get pasta there, pasta sauce, all the fixins that go along with that. But they also carry wonderful produce. So if you've been looking at Ruler Foods, you haven't stopped in yet, go in and try it. Just trust me on this. Go give them a shot. When you walk in, you'll see how well organized the stores are, how clean they are, and easy to shop. You're going to enjoy, for instance, sale right now, fresh cherries, $2.99 a pound, red or white seedless grapes, $1.27 a pound, or seedless watermelon and cantaloupe, $2.99 each. Great ways to save on produce you're going to love, on the name brands that you already love, and great savings with those Kroger brands at Ruler Foods prices. Whether it's for delivery or to find the one closest to you, visit rulerfoods.com.
I'm sitting here checking the weather coming up this week. Looks like high 60s as low and 80 to mid 80s as a high. So if you are putting off putting your air conditioner in because of the heat and you didn't want your house to get so warm while the process is going on, this will be the best time to have that done and have your air conditioner put in and get ready for the heat wave that we get here in St. Louis. Or if you haven't had your air conditioning checked, or you noticed that it wasn't cooling as good as you expected, or you wanted, or you need it, call me. It's Bart Inman, one easy number, Illinois and Missouri. The easiest number, 314-293-2600. It's Bart Inman, 314-293-2600, or the internet, bartinman.com. That's Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
At Stifel, we put everything into the success of our advisors so they can put everything into your success. That means more than just building you a portfolio. It means we're invested in you and your future. And it means taking a personalized approach to managing your wealth. That's why Stifel is once again the top-ranked wealth management firm for employee advisor satisfaction. Stifel, where success meets success.
Stifel, Nicholas & Company, Incorporated. Member SIPC and NYSE. For J.D. Power 2024 award information, visit jdpower.com/awards.
Are you ready to shape the future? Missouri is crafting its master plan on aging, and we want to hear from you. Visit health.mo.gov/aging to share your thoughts, ideas, and concerns. We can create a vibrant, inclusive future for all generations.
St. Louis bi-state summers are hot, humid, and can be deadly. Heat can even fry an egg on a sidewalk. For many seniors and the disabled, income goes to rent, medicine, and groceries, often with nothing left to pay utility bills. Please help seniors keep the air on, and let's check on neighbors. CoolDownStLouis.org can also help Missouri and Illinois qualified neighbors with utility bills. Get help, give help at CoolDownStLouis.org.
We were just talking about it. We want to know what you think. Are you afraid for America's future? Yes or no? There's still a few minutes to get your vote in and leave a comment on the Annie Fry YouTube page. That's the YouTube live chat poll. Are you afraid for America's future? 2:51. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon getting set to go here on a Thursday afternoon. The media malfeasance, even just a couple of days after Joe Biden gets out of the race, is already at Hall of Fame proportions. Even Brian Kilmeade is a target. I'll explain, and he'll join us at 3:25.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Fry Show.
Say I'm not enough. Every single lie that tells me I will never measure up.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. Appreciate you being with us this afternoon. I'm very glad to be back from vacation, back with you here on the air. And, I try to take one really good break in the summer and then the Christmas break. And then anything else that I take in between that is usually because I got to go take a kid somewhere. So I'm back. I'm back with you for until Christmas. Christmas is right around the corner. Do you realize that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I already got my tree up.
Did you take it down?
No.
Okay. You're just on the verge of being early.
He's taking it, put it up, taking it down, and putting it back up in case for the next Christmas.
Right. Right, because it's one of those events that I'm like, I think this will probably come around again in December. You know what? We'll just leave it
You
there.
never know. The world could end before then.
True.
Did you see the Yellowstone explosion?
Yeah.
I just saw the video. What's that about?
Brad explained it to me, so you could probably do better.
I explained it to you?
Yeah, you did. Yesterday.
Basically, that's Biscuit Basin, and there was
Alec Burleson?
What's that? Yeah, not Burleson. Biscuit Basin, not Biscuit Burleson. But that's what do they call it? The Sapphire Pool, and it's by Steamboat, and it's just some Steamboat's one of the geysers in Yellowstone, and it's just some
guys.
hydrothermic energy below the
He's
ground.
He's the bouncer at the bar that Alec Burleson's DJing for. You know, Biscuit.
DJ Biscuits.
Well, he blew up yesterday.
Steamboat is a great name for a bouncer.
It's just, yeah, hydrothermic energy that exploded.
That's
out
what
of
he
the
uses
ground.
to get you out of the bar.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're under 21. Like, look out for hydrothermic energy.
And not in the mood.
From Steamboat Biscuit.
Steamboat and Biscuit are two different people.
Oh, they're two different people. Okay.
Biscuit is Alec Burleson. Are you familiar with this story? That's a no.
A little. It sounds familiar.
So no, you're just saying this right now, so you're covering.
It's in one of my books on my shelf that I haven't gotten to
It
yet.
isn't.
You sure?
Yes, it just happened.
Okay.
It's not in print. Alec Burleson hit a home run, rounded third base, where the Cardinals were in the dugout there, and he puts his fist in the air.
I do know this.
And he puts his hand over his ear. Why? Because Alec Burleson in a prior life was apparently a rapper DJ.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes. He went by the name of Biscuit.
Now I'm
Everything's
educated.
starting to come together.
Because I thought this was all related to Matt Carpenter doing it.
Matt Carpenter only did it in response to Alec Burleson, the home run, and they all did this. And it looks a lot like here you've got Donald Trump pumping his fist in the air, and the most BA move of a politician that I've ever seen. Fist in the air, blood on his face, and he's yelling, fight, fight, fight. And the Cardinals, in a very, is it unfortuitous? Is that the word? Burleson's rounding third on a home run with his fist in the air and his hand over his ear, and the Cardinals are doing it back, and they're like, oh, the Cardinals are all in on the Trump celebration. And that's what Keith Olbermann was like, cancel the you don't get to frickin' cancel the Cardinals, Keith Olbermann, you angry old coot. It makes me so mad. Like, Keith Olbermann cannot be more loudly dumb. But then he does something louder and dumber. And I'm like, I was wrong again with Keith Olbermann. He wants to cancel the Cardinals because Alec Burleson was a DJ rapper named Biscuit. And they've been doing this before Trump got shot. And then I blame conservative influencers on Twitter for trying to push this out there. And so people it's just a reminder to everybody, like, don't immediately react to what you see on Twitter. Just do some research first. Because I saw it and I'm like, I messaged my people and I'm like, oh my God, is this real? And they're like, I don't think so. And then it turned out Matt Carpenter came out and they're like, no, Biscuit, DJ, whatever. But people don't want to believe it. They're just like, no, they like Trump.
Okay.
And I'm like, they probably do like Trump, but this wasn't about that.
I understand more now because I did get all of my news. This is where I fell short. I got all of my news from Keith Olbermann as usual. And
You were so full of crap today.
And I canceled the Cardinals.
It's good to have you back.
And
you
now
can bring
here
them back
we are.
in. You can be a fan again.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm glad because I had canceled them. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a group of people who would be more of a fan if that were the case, but the Cardinals are not out there doing collective Trump celebrations. Meanwhile, I don't know this to be true, but I bet a lot of them will vote for him. I think like 90% of MLB players are conservative or something like that. But that's not what that was. That's not what that was. On the YouTube live chat today, are you afraid for America's future? Yes, 80%. No, 20%. So there's a lot of fear out there. Find hope and start by saying a prayer. It's the best way. It's the best medication. It's the only thing that really matters. So glad to be back. Thank you for welcoming me back. Thank you for missing me, for those who you did. And you, Ryan.
Thank you.
Good to be back. Mark Reardon, up next.
Are you the decision maker in your company? Consider this. For the first time in decades, there's a better option for a corporate card and spend management platform. Meet Ramp, the only corporate card and spend management system designed to help you spend less money so you can make more. With Ramp, you get full visibility into your company's spending and control who spends what with each vendor. Ramp's software collects and verifies receipts instantly to save your team valuable time. Ramp automates data entry and routine tasks with automated approvals, expense categorization and bill payments, time-consuming tasks. Which means you'll stop wasteful spending and close your books in hours instead of days. Businesses that use Ramp add up to 5% to their bottom line the first year. If you're a decision maker, adding Ramp could be one of the best decisions you've ever made. Get $250 when you join Ramp for free. Just go to ramp.com/free